the fact that you reached into her car.
But for if she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
If you kept your pants zipped, sir, you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ashley Hamblin is suing her former lover, Jonathan Davis, for damages resulting from him causing her to crash her car.
Order. All rise. It's case number 157 on the calendar in the matter of Hamblin versus Davis.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Davis, I'm going to tell you, I read these papers very carefully. And, you know, I believe that everyone is supposed to be responsible for incidents that they create. And it's an interesting case because Miss Hamblin says that the two of you were dating for a while, and on this particular evening, you had some words, you left her apartment. She subsequently got into her car, and she was in the driver's seat and driving. She says, however, that because of your actions, an accident was damaged and her property was damaged. That's an unusual circumstance because usually the person who was at the wheel of a car is responsible. But I read this very carefully, and I want you, in your own words, to tell me what happened on June the 7th.
Okay, so on June the 7th, I was to pick her up from her place. She had told me that she was pregnant, and then she told me that she was going to terminate the pregnancy. I was there to pick her up, to take her back to my place, to take care of her through that process. I had been suspicious that she wasn't pregnant because she had never sent me a blood test. When I arrived, she told me that she had already taken the pill, which made me more suspicious.
Taken?
The abortion pill.
Is that they call the morning after pill?
The morning, whatever it might be called.
Okay, so she was going to go back to your house?
Yeah.
So that you could care for her?
Right.
Okay.
So she told me that she'd already taken the pill, which aroused my suspicion further. And I said, can you show me any proof that you were ever pregnant? Can you show me a receipt? Can you show me the blood test? Can you show me the pill that it came in from Planned Parenthood? She refused. She said it was in the trash, and then she said the trash was in the dump. So I left her place confused as to what happened.
So you said, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. Well, in my car, I was parked around the corner. I sat in my car, and I called a couple friends to walk through what had just happened, because I didn't understand it all the way through. I just didn't understand why she would lie about something like that. So just kind of emoting to my friends about what had gone on. I see her across the street get in her car, which surprised me. I just wasn't expecting to see her. And meanwhile, she's calling me from her car, telling me that she's never took the pill, and...
She called you, and you answered the phone, or you just took a message?
She called me, answered the phone, and she told me that she did not take the pill, and she swore at me, told me she did not take the pill. She had been lying about...
Oh, shh. Just, you'll have a turn in a minute. Go ahead.
That she did not take the pill, and then she had lied about taking the pill. And then I thought, oh, great, then there's a pill. There's some evidence that what she had been saying wasn't fabricated. So I walked across over to her car and said, can I see the pill? She said it was none of my business, and she refused to show me the pill. That's when her phone...
She's sitting in the car.
She's sitting in the car.
And you're talking through the window?
I'm talking through the window. The car is stopped.
So the window is down?
The window's rolled down. The car is stopped.
And you've been in the plaintiff's car before?
No, I've never been in her car.
Does your car have automatic windows, or does it have...
Automatic.
Okay, so now the window is down.
And I reach in to take her phone to see...
That's where we're going to stop.
Yeah.
Her phone beeped. Where was her phone?
Her phone was in her lap.
So she had a phone in her lap, so you reached your hand into her car to get her phone.
Right, yes.
And?
And I wanted to see if there was some... And then she grabbed my wrists. I immediately let go of the phone. I put my hands up in the universal gesture of, I don't want to get in a fight. And I want to be clear, I didn't open the door. I didn't try to commandeer the steering wheel. And I watched as her car started to roll. This was the car had been stopped. Now the car's starting to roll. And I'm looking at her like, put your foot back on the brake. That's what I'm thinking. Then our car starts to drift towards the center of the street. And I'm kind of doing the gesture of like, she has plenty of time, just move the car back. Then she accelerates the car and plows through the yard of her neighbor across the street. I was
So-
not near the car.
Mr. Davis,
Yeah.
the question that I'm going to listen to what the plaintiff tells me. In negligence, one of the questions that courts ask themselves is, but for the actions of Mr. Davis, would Miss Hamblin have had an accident that night with her car?
Right.
And so far, even based on the rather benign, we all do,
Right.
fact finders, whether it's a jury or a judge, fact finders put themselves in a situation of the other person.
Right.
Now, I'm in my car. I started my car.
Right.
And you know, the car was started because otherwise the window wouldn't be down.
Right.
So the car was started and her foot is on the brake. As you said, later, her foot was on the brake. Then you reach into the car so that you're really trespassing on her property by putting your hand into her car to lift out her phone. That causes, and it's already been an emotional evening, probably for both of you. Okay, Miss Hamlin, you tell me your version of the events.
He did come to my house. We had a disagreement.
About what?
About he was pressuring me into getting a certain medical procedure that he referenced earlier. I wasn't quite sure to make a definitive decision on that matter. He left. About 15 minutes transpired. I left my home, went into my car. My car was parked on the side street.
Where are you going?
Where was I going? To the store. I have a cat. I have cats. Get cat
Told me she
food.
was going to see a friend.
Anyways, get into my car. I rolled down my window halfway to let the hot air out. I do have my phone in my lap. I am text messaging. I never called him, by the way. I did not know he was transpired. I didn't even know he was still there. So I'm firing off some text messages, just fiddling with my phone because you can't do that while you're driving in California. Next thing you know, I look up and I see him bum rushing my car. My car is now in drive. It is in gear. And I'm starting to go out to veer out of my parking spot. And he's reaching into my car, trying to commandeer my phone violently, trying to pull it out of my hands.
Just a minute, was it in your hand or your lap?
It was in my lap first, and then he reached into my lap, and then we were struggling over it.
Okay, so the phone was in your lap when he
Yes.
walked over.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we were struggling over it. And meanwhile, my car I'm trying to ascend forward, get out of the situation, try to circumvent, try not to actually run him over, and try to get away from the situation. And everything really happened so fast. My foot is on the gas pedal. I am in gear. I am trying to get away. And, grabs my wrist, phone, I veer away, and I hit the wrought iron fence of my neighbor.
Okay, so your insurance covered that.
They did, the fence, yes.
And what about your car?
I had only liability, and so the damages, I have the estimate,
I'd like to see the estimate.
$1,531.46.
I'd like to see the estimates of the car if you have them. Thank you. Did you need a new tire?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Davis, did you stick around after the accident?
Yes.
Were the police called?
Yes.
Is there a report?
Yes.
Can I see the report, please? Okay, the only thing that the police report said, and this is a paraphrase of what happened, says the victim was driving. Witness, they refer to you as a witness, grabbed phone from her hand, causing her to swerve and hit the gate. Okay, so Mr. Davis, as I started to say, as I said a little bit earlier, but for your actions that day in waiting outside her apartment, whatever you were doing, if you were speaking to friends, but coming over to her car, even though it was not planned, and then trying to grab her property, even for the purposes of looking at it to see who she was talking to, see who was calling her, whatever it is. The whole evening was very disturbing for both of you, caused this accident.
Yeah.
That's what caused the accident. But for the fact that you went over, but for the fact that you went, which is A, illegal, and B, an aggressive action, reached into her car, that accident, the way it happened, would not have happened, but for your actions. So you are.
Rebut that for a second?
Well, are we going to talk about it? Are we going to talk about the law of it?
The context, but for if she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
Oh, you know, and if Adam hadn't taken that bite out of the apple, there's a certain cutoff point, you know. If you kept your pants zipped, sir, then you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble. We're not going back that far.
Right.
We don't have to go back that far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
What I'm telling you is, he's not going to pay your moving costs.
Why not,
He's
Your
not.
Honor?
Why not?
Yes.
Because you're a grown-up person. If you don't like the apartment that you're living in, you move.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Hamblin says former lover Jonathan Davis caused her to crash her car when he tried to grab her phone.
Okay, we go back to the point where, but for your actions in going over to her car and aggressively trying to get her phone, this rating,
It's frustrating.
much of what she wants, she's not going to, unfortunately, be able to get, but she is going to get the repairs for her car. She is going to get the repairs for her car, which were $1,530. That's totally reasonable because you actually caused that accident, even though you weren't involved, by driving. What? You're not going to get the increase in your insurance rates and the ding to your license. And it's not happening.
Okay.
$1,530. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
There was a lot more context to the accident and why it went down.
A crime was committed. Your emotions don't matter.
There was a lot more emotional ringer that she was putting me through.
You know, I'm not going to let somebody tell me what to do with my body. I'm sorry.
Keep my hands to myself on everything, including the phone on Tinder.
Don't ever go on Tinder. No one go on Tinder. Ever.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Pope versus Watkins. Step forward.
25-year-old Amber Pope is suing her former property manager, Vernon Watkins, for the return of rent and moving costs.
Miss Pope, let me see if I understand this. You were renting a room in a house where there were 8 bedrooms, 4 up and 4 down?
That sounds about correct, Your Honor.
And you were renting initially from someone else other
Yes.
than the defendant.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were living in that room. And in your room, how many people were there?
So each room could fit up to 4 people. There's 2 bunk beds in each room.
Did you know who owned the house?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
But there was a leaseholder that evidently left, and Mr. Watkins became the leaseholder. You took over that lease.
Correct.
Yes.
In what year, sir?
That was April 8th of this year, 2019.
Just tell me, for my own curiosity, what kind of rent do you pay to be in a room with 3 other people in an 8-bedroom house?
Well, I paid $450 a month because before I came to that house, I was in transitional living.
And was there ever a time when there were 4 people in your room?
Yes, ma'am, unfortunately, yes.
Okay. So, how much, Mr. Watkins, did you pay for this house a month in rent?
Per month?
Yes.
Well, it's a duplex,
Just,
and we pay $5,800 per month.
who's we?
My partner and I, we're a sole proprietorship.
Okay. So at any given time, let's say I'm taking her number of 4 rooms up, 4 rooms down. Each room can hold up to 4 people. You could actually make, if those rooms were full, $16,000 a month.
It's potentially yes,
Yes. Well, that's pretty good deal. So that's $10,000 clear money.
full.
Okay. But you could potentially.
Potentially.
Potentially. I just wanted to know. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win this, Miss Pope, because you're probably not.
Okay.
Because once he took over the lease, you say you felt uncomfortable
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
He was letting different kinds of people in to live there, and you felt uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
So you moved.
Yes, May 13th.
And you want him to pay for your moving expenses.
My prorated
and-
rent, moving
Yeah,
cost,
just a sec.
deposit.
Yeah, well, so he's not going to pay for your moving costs. You didn't like the new landlord. You had no obligation to stay there. You can move. That's what grown-ups do.
Yes,
They
that's true, Your Honor.
move.
However, I was sexually harassed in the situation.
Listen to me. I read your papers.
Okay.
You felt uncomfortable there. You said you didn't like him. He walked around in his underwear. You don't like it? Move.
Right.
You don't like it? Move. So that's what you did. Now, did you pay May's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Is not an answer. Yes, is an
ma'am, I
answer.
did.
Yes. Okay. And you lived there through May 13th.
Yes, ma'am.
You paid on the 1st of the month. When
Yes.
did you tell Mr. Watkins that you were moving?
I told him the week before I was moving.
Tell me about the conversation.
Well, basically, ma'am.
Not basically.
I'm sorry.
I just want you to tell me a week before you were moving, you said to him and he said to you.
Because I felt sexually harassed by him.
Is that what you said? No, I don't
No,
even
she-
believe that.
Well, ma'am, I
Miss
have
Pope,
evidence
Miss
here
Pope.
that he asked me to be a stripper.
And what did you say?
I said, no, of course not. He said, no, I insist. You have big breasts, thick thighs, big hips. Why not be a stripper? You can make some money.
And?
I have it right here.
I'm going to look at
Now,
what you
this evidence is a conversation between me and my housemate that we have about him asking us to be strippers. He said that he's...
Just a second. Is that conversation that you had with him or with somebody else who's not here?
Somebody else who's not here,
I
unfortunately.
don't mean that.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I take sexual harassment complaints very, very seriously, and when somebody uses them for a leg up in this kind of nonsense, I don't buy it. I take it very, very seriously. If you didn't like the new landlord, you pick yourself up and you move.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Amber Pope says her former property manager, Vernon Watkins, owes for the return of rent and moving costs.
What I'm telling you is, he's not going to pay your moving costs.
Why not, Your
He's
Honor?
not. Why not?
Yes.
Because you're a grown-up person. If you don't like the apartment that you're living in, you move.
Well, ma'am, in the higher
Just a sec.
Okay.
Harassment complaints very, very seriously, and when somebody uses them for a leg up in this kind of nonsense, I don't buy it.
It definitely wasn't for a leg up, ma'am.
I take it very, very seriously. If you didn't like the new landlord, you felt uncomfortable. He was bringing in people that you didn't like, that you didn't feel were as wholesome as the prior landlord, then you have the right to vote with your feet. You pick yourself up and you move. And if it's expensive, that's not his problem.
Well, ma'am, before he came in, I was very comfortable
I
living
don't
there.
care if you were very comfortable before. Now you weren't, so you move.
Yes, ma'am, but it's not that simple just to move in the height of gentrification in L.A.
That's not
I'm
his
a victim
fault.
of sexual
That's not his
abuse. He
fault.
kept approaching me with inappropriate conversations. It triggered me psychologically, ma'am. That's the reason why I'm here.
Well,
I'm an educator, ma'am.
What
Yes.
I'm telling you is, he's not paying your moving expenses. You paid for May.
Yes.
You lived there in May.
Yes. I didn't stay to the end of May, ma'am.
I don't care.
Okay.
When you live in a place for part of a month, unless you have some sort of an agreement that you are living there on a daily basis, so you live in an apartment and you move out in the middle of the month, you pay for the month.
Okay.
You gave him a week's notice that you were moving out.
Well, not necessarily a week notice and a verbal, but I made it very clear, like, I don't want to live here anymore. So I decided to leave May 13th.
Then he said goodbye.
Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You gave him a week's notice that you were moving out.
Well, not necessarily a week notice and a verbal, but I made it very clear, like, I don't want to live here anymore. So I decided to leave May 13th.
Then he said goodbye, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's
But
right.
also, too, the fact that he purposely moved in a man dressed as a woman into my room to purposely make me uncomfortable.
You walk with your feet. You don't like the room anymore. You don't like the landlord. You don't like the roommate. Find another roommate.
But, ma'am, but what about him constantly coming into my room while I'm dressing fresh out the shower? My witness Tanya even witnessed that.
Just
Yes.
a second.
Yes.
We're done.
Okay.
Never happened.
That did happen. Your Honor, my witness Tanya, she witnessed him coming into my room as I'm getting dressed, fresh out the shower, unannounced, no intention to show the room to new people, no intention to make any new changes to the room, no maintenance issues. I'm supposed to be comfortable with that?
May I respond?
Here, Tanya, you saw
Listen
it,
to me.
right?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Okay.
All right, excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Her payment was going to be the furniture from your storage unit.
I never agreed that. Can I interrupt?
No.
Judge Judy.
Yes, I'm a grown adult, but I shouldn't have to be forced to move and pay high expense moving costs.
I have a number of other female tenants that have never had a problem, so this is all made up.
Even though the situation didn't go in my favor, the marathon continues, so I'm gonna keep fighting.
There's no way that I would disrespect any person in that way.
Who witnessed it?
There were no witnesses to the dog attack.
The tragic evidence was plain to see.
We found tufts of hair and broken pieces of fence on our property.
You had expensive vet bills. $3,000.
But the neighbor has a different view.
It didn't happen, Your Honor.
Don't say that because you don't know that.
Nobody witnessed these dogs being attacked.
It did happen. His dog was attacked. His dog was injured.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Daniel Rose is suing his neighbor, Alicia George, for damage to his fence caused by her dogs, vet bills, and filing false police reports.
Order. All rise. Case number 158 on the calendar in the matter of Rose versus George.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Rose, you and Miss George are neighbors, and you share a common fence?
Correct, yes.
You have 2 small dogs.
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind?
A cross of a Lhasa Apso Shih Tzu and a Pomeranian Terrier.
And you have 3 large dogs.
That is correct.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 full-bred Great Danes and 1 German short-haired pointer mixed with black lab.
For how long have you and Mr. Rose had a problem about this fence?
Honestly, I think like it arose maybe the last 2 years about.
Tell me when you think it first started.
I would say we had issues with property line.
Okay, give me a little more information.
Shortly after that, I believe his son moved into the house or brought a pet into the home. At that point, their dogs immediately leave their back door and go directly to our fence barking. And at which point, my dogs bark back and go back to the fence. This is the first time he's actually approached us on it, of it being an issue and stating that he believes that our dog attacked his.
That one of your dogs, the German short-haired pointer.
Correct, I
Mix.
believe so, yes.
Okay. And when did that happen, Mr. Rose?
April 1st of this year, witnesses to the dog attack. What we found was our fence had been broken down. Once again, there were holes in the fence, and
Is that the fence that separates
yes,
your property
yes.
from Miss George's property?
Yes, Your Honor. We found tufts of hair and broken pieces of fence on our property.
Did you take any photographs of what you found?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it.
While he's looking for his photo, Your Honor, I do have photos of what the fence was, which is this PVC pipe with
Just 1 second.
construction fence.
I didn't ask you any questions.
I'm
yet.
sorry.
These pictures taken from your side of the fence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this taken on your side of the fence?
Yes, that's on my property. That's the tufts of hair.
And your dog is the dark-haired dog?
Yes, it's the Pomeranian.
You have an animal control report?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at here on this big circle.
Those are places where their dogs have broken the fence, and our neighbors tried to do some patching on their side of the fence.
That's really not what I asked you for.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
The question that I posed to you, why don't you sit down? The question that I posed to you was a very simple one. You said that there were no broken. It was broken in a place where it was just between your property and the defendant's property, and you found tufts of hair. I want to see where you allege that the fence was broken, because I don't understand this picture.
Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor. There's another picture with a larger section of fence that was replaced. That's where we
I
believe...
don't want to see replaced. I asked you if you took a picture with the fence as it was on the date of the attack, not fixed.
Your
And
Honor,
the answer is either yes or no.
No, Your Honor, I don't have a picture of that. The fence was repaired before I got home from work.
Because it didn't happen, Your Honor.
Oh, just a second.
Yes.
Don't say that, because you don't know that.
You're right.
There are certain things that we do know. We do know that his dog was injured. And we probably will find out that someone put new boards up. But my question was, so you don't know that it didn't, first of all, it did happen. His dog was attacked. His dog was injured. You know, unless it was a hawk or a coyote or something else that may have come in. It's his responsibility to demonstrate to me without a witness, because he has none, that I can draw a conclusion that I'm comfortable with that it was your dog. Now, I don't know that. So you don't have a picture of how...
No, Your Honor. I believe
Okay,
the
so then
fence was
all
repaired.
of this is useless.
Okay.
Because I can't tell from these pictures whether one of your little dogs went onto their property and then came back. Because certainly from these pictures, a 70-pound dog couldn't get in. If this was open, they could have, but that's not what I'm seeing in your photographs. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay,
I
good.
believe the fence had been repaired before I came home.
What you believe is not relevant to me.
I understand that. And you asked for the animal control report.
I'd like to see it.
have my version of the report as well, if you would like.
I'm going to read
see
that
it
in a
as well.
minute. Well, at least this version of the report indicates that the animal control officer actually observed your dog breaking the fence.
That's incorrect.
You don't know that. How could you tell? How could you say?
We were
how would
never
you-
informed.
I don't care what you were informed about. It said when the animal control officer was there, several sections of the fence were old and weakened. While we were inspecting the fence, a medium-sized black dog at the, and crossed out name, began tearing at the fence and broke a slat when he observed the complainant's own dog near the fence. You have a medium-sized black dog?
That is correct.
Right. You don't have any animus towards this animal control officer. He doesn't even know who you are. Good. I just read you this version of the
Yes.
report.
This was left on my doorstep.
What?
Yes, that's when animal control came 9 days later, mind you.
Just a second. What I'm telling you is, on the 2nd, the animal control officer came to speak to him the day after the incident. Open up your brain. Observed your dog breaking through the weakened slats. Do you understand what the animal control officer said?
I do.
Fine. Whether he left this on your door 9 days later and whether he left it on your door the same day and you, your husband, or whoever else lived there ripped it off, I don't know. Because that's what people do. Please contact us about your dog. I don't know how
nothing on there that mentions anything about the dog bite or anything.
Want to read the report?
I understand what you're saying.
All your dog's licenses are expired.
That is correct. They have been fully licensed since this day.
That would be my fault. I work 60 hours a week and I hadn't had time to get to it. So I hadn't relapsed.
I don't care. Okay, can I have the vet bill, please? Then I'm going to have a discussion with you, Mr. Rose, because I don't think that you are without fault.
I agree, Your Honor.
Why do you...
The fence is old, and I've been repairing it. I have not been able to repair all of it. Budget is a limiting factor to me. So I repaired it as much as I could. In fact, the weekend that this happened, I'd put about $200 into repairs on the fence that very weekend, where the fence was broken through, where we believe the dog came through this time. I hadn't had money to get to that part of the fence yet.
That's not the only reason why I think you're at fault. I think you're at fault because, according to you, there was a prior incident involving another of your small dogs.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
That you didn't make a big fuss over, according to you. You took care of that dog yourself, and you didn't bother the defendants with that bill. But there was a suggestion in your complaint that you believed that their dog was responsible for that injury as well.
I have a witness that saw it happen, Your Honor.
Even more damaging for you, because despite that fact, you kept the doggy door in place in your house, which means that despite the fact that you may not have had any cash on hand to adequately repair the fence, very easily could have taken out the doggy door until you had the money. And you were on notice that it happened before. You knew that your little dogs could go outside and her big dogs had the capacity to hurt them. And if it were my dogs, my small dogs, I would have closed off the doggy door and walked my dogs on a leash. And the people in my house wouldn't have been lazy and aren't smart enough not to run over to... That's what they do. That's what dogs do.
Exactly.
The grown-ups who were in charge of taking care of them, especially when there are small ones and big ones who live next door and know that there could be trouble, you have to keep them safe, like you have to keep a toddler safe. So you had expensive vet bills for this dog, $3,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, they're going to pay $2,000. You're going to pay the rest. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000.
We have a countersuit for this guy harassing us.
I don't care about your countersuit. Listen to me
He could
carefully.
have gone out of the fence. Look at the fence pictures. This is PVC pipe with just fencing. They could have crawled under it. Look at our fence. It is fully blocked off on the front. Our dogs are locked up when we're not home. This is the measly-ass fence that they have.
Madam, put your picture down. I want you to read the report really carefully.
I haven't even seen the report.
Well, I asked you if you wanted to look at it. You said no. I believe you. If you want to read it, I'll be more than happy to give it to you.
That does not witness what happened, though. That witnesses what happened at that point in time. Nobody witnessed these dogs being attacked.
What you said to me was you don't even know what had happened, but you're more than willing to say to me, my dogs, because you wrote it in here.
My dogs were locked up.
You said, well, they certainly weren't locked up on the day animal control was there.
You're right, because I was home.
Well, you don't even, so how, are you thick? Are you thick between here?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They don't know when it happens, neither do you, so you can't stand there and say to me, it couldn't have been my dogs, they were locked up. When were they locked up? Whenever it was that he says it happened. Do you understand?
And later today,
Were you at the house and witnessed an incident involving the car?
Yes.
Tell me what you saw.
I see this guy run from downstairs and went upstairs, come back downstairs with a sugar, and I saw him throw it in the gas tank.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Daniel Rose says neighbor Alicia George owes for damage to his fence caused by her dogs, vet bills, and false police reports. Alicia's countersuing for harassment and trespassing.
Now, they don't know when it happens, neither do you, so you can't stand there and say to me, it couldn't have been my dogs, they were locked up. When were they locked up? Whenever it was that he says it happened. Do you understand? He's partially responsible. You're more responsible. Judgment for the plaintiff in the
Your
amount
Honor.
of $2,000. Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're done here.
The counterclaim for their punitive damages for filing a false police report on me?
Just a minute. You mean for harassment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because he's been harassing us.
They say you've been harassed. Anything come of that?
Your Honor.
I called the police.
The day after the
Don't speak.
Your Honor, the day after the attack, I went to their house to ask them if they were aware of anything that happened.
That was the second.
The second. The children were out in front playing. I asked them if their mother was home. They said yes, and she's probably in the kitchen, so I went and knocked on the door.
There was an 8.5-minute video.
Did you look in my door?
Out! What word didn't you understand? It was only one syllable. Out! Out! If you try to remember something, remember, get your dogs vaccinated and licensed. Out! Okay.
Their back door has a large window. I was looking at the door. I stood there and waited for a couple of minutes. I looked towards where the children were, hoping one of them would come to the door and let their mom know that I was there. When they didn't, I left. I have never been on their property since. I have never harassed them. I have no interest in them. When I filed this case, Your Honor, I had to ask neighbors their names.
Just a second. Do you have a copy of the complaint she filed?
I have a copy of the police report.
I'd like to see it.
Oh, police report right here.
Okay. While I understand this, and I understand why she did it, I understand her motive in calling the police and saying, he's coming on my property and looking in my window, and I want him not to come into my property. I understand what motivated her. Police didn't do anything. They got the message. Do you remember the police coming to your house or someone coming to your house on April 2nd?
No.
Did the plaintiff come to your house on April 2nd?
No.
Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're done. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think that it was wrong.
I thought her opinion was right.
He's totally responsible.
I'm already out the money. I wasn't here for the money.
I hope that he stays off our property and he replaces his fence.
I was here to help them understand that they have responsibility as a neighbor.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Douglas versus Ricketts, step forward.
Ardian Douglas is suing his brother, Richard Ricketts, for vandalizing his car by putting sugar in the gas tank.
You two gentlemen are brothers. Your mother passed away. There's a house, maybe some other little property, and you're fighting with each other. Each one of you claims that the other caused damage to their car.
2018.
Did she leave an estate?
No, she did not, Your Honor.
Did she leave a house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the house in her name or anybody else's name?
Her name, Your Honor.
How many siblings are there?
4.
When is it that you alleged that your brother damaged your car?
In March, Your Honor.
How did he damage your car?
He put the sugar and another type of gas oil into my gas tank.
Who saw that?
My witness right here, Your Honor, and myself.
You saw it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you stand up? Tell me your last name, sir.
Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, stand over there. Were you at the house in March and witnessed an incident involving the car?
Yes.
Tell me what you saw.
I see this guy run from downstairs and went upstairs inside of his apartment, come back downstairs with a sugar, like with a white bag with sugar, and I saw him throw it in the gas tank. Same time, I called this guy on his phone, and then he came outside, but he didn't see when he was throwing it in it, but he saw the sugar in his hand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You say he vandalized your car.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, he kicked it. That's him right here, my brother Artie and Douglas.
Who's the other person?
I don't know. That's not me, Your Honor. He doesn't even have a car. So
I have a car, Your Honor.
Real cases, real people. Judge
As his brother, Richard Ricketts, put sugar in his gas tank. Richard is countersuing for vandalism to his car.
Okay. Did you take the car in to have it repaired?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you call the police?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have a police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. This talks about a gun.
A gun was actually found, Your Honor.
I understand
That was did
This
pop
talks
up,
ab-
Your Honor.
this
That's a lie.
This doesn't talk about sugar in a gas tank.
Okay.
Okay. But you have two witnesses. Do you have a repair bill for the time you took the car?
Yes,
in?
Your Honor.
I'd like to see that.
One from Ford, one from Alco.
This happened in March. This bill is for May.
Yes, Your Honor, because when I take it there, I thought everything was okay, and that 2 weeks or 3 weeks period afterwards, my car started to go down.
I actually can't make this kind of connection between something that happened 2 months later. Okay. And if I asked you whether you put sugar in his car, you would say no.
No, ma'am, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
okay. Got it. Now I want you to tell me about your counterclaim. You say he vandalized your car.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see. When did it happen?
It happened in March 2019, right after I came back from...
After he allegedly had sugar put in his
No,
car.
I didn't get locked up for that, Your Honor.
I know you got locked
I
up
got
for a
locked
gun.
up because he told lie that I put a gun to his head.
I saw that. They
And
found
I
a
got
gun
locked
that
up
belonged
for
to
that.
somebody else. I got that. That's your car, and that's in March.
No, that is not my car. The white car, you see them playing with it, about to kick the glass out? Yes, he kicked it. That's him right here, my brother Artie and Douglas. I don't recognize the other person, but that's my brother right there.
Who's the other person?
The one who was kicking out the side
Who's
glass,
the
if you
other
can
person?
see.
I don't know. That's not me, Your Honor. He doesn't even have a car. So
I
don't know
have
what
a
he's
car,
talking
Your
about.
Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, where was this camera situated?
It was my neighbor right beside my house because that's where I park my car every night.
Got it.
And I also got
Did
images
you
after
make
the
a
effect.
police report
Yes,
about
ma'am.
this? May
Your
I see
Honor.
it?
This is the police report. Yes.
You say it cost $700 to fix your car. I'd like to see the bill for that.
And I would love for you to look at the images as well after the effect.
On your claim, sir, I'm awarding you $1,000 for repair as a result of him placing sugar in your tank, which I actually believe that he did. And on your counterclaim, sir, I'm awarding you the full amount of what you're requesting for the repairs for your car, which is $700, which means, sir, you get $300. Are we clear?
Yes,
That's
sir.
it. Thank you.
Your Honor, I would like to talk about the other stuff that he has
I don't
did.
want to talk about two brothers harassing each other. Stop harassing each other.
Sir, wait here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
An ugly breakup ends with a smash.
You reached into her car.
If she hadn't been lying about being pregnant,
If you kept your pants zipped, sir, you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble.
Judge Judy.
He harassed me and caused so much stress to my life.
He's a danger against me and my other sisters and brothers.
It's just hate. And I wish we could just come together.
When I get home, I have an order of protection against him. He have to leave out the house.
She was attracted to his bank account,
How much did you receive?
60,000.
And all of a sudden you needed money.
but paying him back, a turnoff.
I actually have text messages of him telling me.
It shows that he's a nice person and you're not.
He began asking me out after he gave me the money. I refused him.
Listen to me, you're not a victim.
This is Judge Judy.
Todd Moody is suing his former friend, Nancy Camello, for an unpaid loan to obtain an attorney.
Order. All rise. It's case number 187 on the calendar in the matter of Moody versus Camello.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Moody, it is your claim that you loaned the defendant, someone who you knew from high school,
Correct.
$4,500 for a lawyer.
Yes.
And you needed a lawyer because you were involved in a custody dispute with the father of one or more of your children.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me when you made this loan, month and year.
June 17th is the first day I met with her and gave her...
June 17th of what year?
2019.
And at that time you gave her?
I gave her $3,500.
Where did you get the money from?
From my bank account.
Okay, and you have proof of that with
Yes,
you?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
There's two different transactions. One's the $3,500, and then the following day she asked me for another $1,000. That's why both those are highlighted in the withdrawal slip.
Well, one says quick pay was Zelle payment to Nancy Camello. The other one just says withdrawal on the 17th.
Yes, I withdrew the money and gave her cash because she needed it that day. She was going the following day to see the attorney.
What's the name of the attorney you went to see?
I have an ongoing case right now. It's very active. I don't know if I mean...
The name of your lawyer is not a secret.
Well, I don't know. I've never done this before. Lauren...
And you made a payment to the lawyer on either the 17th or the 18th of June in the amount of $3,500. So if I, with your permission, would call the attorney would confirm that you made a $3,500 payment either on the 17th or the 18th. Am I correct?
Well, no, actually, the amount that I needed to give her was $4,000. That's why Mr. Moody gave me $1,000 more.
It's not my question to you. My question to you is, would the attorney tell me that on or about the 17th or the 18th of June, you made a payment of at least $3,500 on those dates?
Absolutely.
And your case is ongoing?
Yes.
Now, if you had to give the lawyer $4,000, why did you take $4,500 from him?
I originally thought that I needed that amount to give to... for a retainer fee, which I ended up giving to her that she needed. That went towards more of a retainer fee because my retainer fee has been depleted since the time that I gave it to her originally.
I just want to know, if you had to give her $4,000, which is what you just told me, why did you take $45,000 from the plaintiff?
I thought originally that I needed $4,500.
Did you give it?
I gave the lawyer...
$4,000. This is what you told me.
Yes.
Did you give him back $500?
No, he was fine with it.
Well, I mean, according to this, he was your friend from high school. You sort of reconnected decades later on Facebook or one of those machine characters, and all of a sudden you needed money.
Yes.
Okay, so if you thought you needed $45,000 and all you needed was $4,000, and he was generous enough to, as you say, give you that money, why wouldn't you be honest enough to return the $5,000 to him that you didn't need the next day?
He told me to keep it for my children.
I never knew about the $500.
Just a second. Of course not. Because you couldn't even get your story straight with me. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
You understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that I sort of find irritating is when somebody uses somebody else for money, which it appears that you did, because then you go on to complain, well, once he gave me the money, he wanted to go out on a date for a living. Mr. Moody?
Right now I'm unemployed.
What had you done?
I was doing quality control in the warehouse.
And you had a bank account, according to this, that started out with a balance of $26,000. Where did that come from?
I had a settlement for workers' comp claim.
When?
I received that 2 months prior, so what, May area?
How much did you receive?
$60,000.
And in what month did you connect with Miss Camello?
It had been last year, towards the end of 2018.
And in what month and year did you get this workman's comp settlement?
I received that probably in the middle of May 2019.
Did you tell Miss Camello that you had received it?
No, I did not. I didn't tell anybody that I received the money. I purchased new tires for my car, and people saw that, and, oh, you must have money. So then a lot of people started asking for money.
How long haven't you worked?
Since May. The same day I received that check is the same day that I was like, oh, my job.
Going to go through that money very fast, sir.
If I keep loaning people money and they don't pay me back, correct.
Well, was Miss Camello working?
No, she was not.
Your Honor, I am state-aided. So I have a child that has severe medical problems that I stay home with.
What does that have to do with whether or not you're working?
Well,
I mean, I'm making a judgment as to whether or not the plaintiff had a reasonable expectation of being repaid the money.
He knew I couldn't repay him.
I'm not, listen to me. I'm speaking. When I'm speaking, you don't. I mean, I have a feeling of whatever. But you want to have to stay home with a child for whatever reason, that's your business. I have to know for the purposes of my business whether you claim this was a gift. He said it was a loan, and I have to know if he says it was a loan, from what did he expect you to pay back the loan if you weren't working? That actually is a question that would be helpful for you. So, I mean, I want you to try to be a three-process thinker.
Right.
Now, the defendant wasn't working.
Correct. She wasn't working, but she was receiving a check every month.
Just a second. She was receiving a check every month from what and in what amount?
The amount I do not know. I was never told the amount.
From what?
From state aid.
She was receiving governmental assistance, which doesn't make you rich. It makes you sustained, but doesn't make you rich. Doesn't certainly make you rich enough to pay back $4,500.
Not right away, no.
Well, how long do you think it would take at $10 a week to pay back $4,500?
We'd agreed on $20 a week, not 10, but it'd be a long time.
Just 1 second. You agreed on $20 a week.
Correct.
Starting when you gave her the money, which was in June.
Yes, so starting July 1st.
Now, Miss Camello, did you agree to pay back Mr. Moody this $4,500 at the rate?
We never had such an agreement.
How do you support yourself?
I do get help from my mother, but it's a hardship on her to help me.
She's your mother.
Yeah.
So you get help from your mother. Who else do you get help from?
State aid.
Well, state aid is different from your mother.
Yeah.
And how much do you receive in state aid?
It was $748 a month, but my son just turned 18, so they lowered it to $604. I brought that with me if you'd like to see it.
Do you have additional care for your son? Does he require additional help?
Well, I mean, I help him in regards to his medical problems.
What I'm saying to you is, in addition to yourself, is there another health aid required to help take care of your adult son?
No, ma'am.
Did he go to high school?
Well, he was on home hospital. A teacher came to the house to teach him.
Until when?
He graduated at the beginning of this last June, 2019.
And you're involved in a custody battle, according to the papers here. And the custody battle involves what child or children?
I have a 1-year-old daughter, and yeah, I needed to establish custody because I was physically assaulted by this person.
You have a 1-year-old child, you have an 18-year-old who needs assistance.
Yes.
And then you have a 1-year continuously since birth.
Yes.
And who initiated the proceeding in court? Who is the plaintiff in the court action?
With my child?
With your 1-year-old.
I am.
When was it initiated?
I got my lawyer, I hired the lawyer on the 18th of the day after Mr. Moody gave me the money. So I actually have my court paperwork. We went to court a few weeks after that.
Was the father of the child granted any visitation?
Only once a week for 2 hours.
So the answer is yes, once a week for 2
Yes.
hours. Did your mother give you any money towards the lawyer?
No, she could not. That's why I asked for
I'm just asking.
help.
So
Yeah.
the answer is no. When is your next court appearance?
Well, it was supposed to be on the 23rd, but I just got a call this morning. My lawyer went into labor because she's pregnant, so there's going to be a continuance. They said 22 days from the 23rd, so sometime in October.
Okay, so now you have no reasonable expectation of being paid back.
I still agreed. I thought we were going to stick to our agreement of the payment of the $20 a week. I didn't know that her payment got lowered, so we haven't talked. Ever since I mentioned coming to court, we don't talk.
It doesn't make any difference, sir. From $600 a month to take care of herself, a 1-year-old, and an incapacitated 18-year-old adult.
He's more capable of getting around.
I expect to pay back.
I never knew the dollar amount of what she was getting.
Well, then you should have. Actually, you should have. If I was to lend somebody $5,000 and all I had in the bank was $20,000 and I'm not working, I would find out if it was just an arm's distance loan, how much you're going to pay me back and where are you going to get the money from?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you go out for dinner with her?
We never did.
Never.
She thought it was a date, but I said, bring your kids and bring my daughter. That's not a date.
No, Your Honor, I have a text, him asking me to go look at the moon with him. We never went out to dinner.
Listen to me, you're not a victim.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Todd Moody says his former friend, Nancy Camello, owes for a loan to obtain an attorney for a custody battle.
If I was to lend somebody $5,000 and all I had in the bank was $20,000 and I'm not working, I would find out how much you're going to pay me back and where are you going to get the money from?
She planned on getting the money from her ex by filing for him to pay her attorney fees, and that's what she was going to pay me back with. That's what she had said, because she went to court on the 9th, and that's when, after the 9th, she never responded back to me, so on the 19th is when I went to go file for small claims.
On the 19th of?
July 2019.
Your Honor, that's not true. I have several text
Could
messages.
you go to file a file?
Yeah, and she was. I told her about it on the 25th of July of this year.
You told
she had
her?
made no attempt to do anything. She didn't call me and tell me I don't have the money right now. Because I told her if you don't.
When did you go out for dinner with her?
We never did.
Never.
No, we didn't do it. She thought it was a date, but I said, bring your kids and bring my daughter. That's not a date.
No, Your Honor, I have a text, him asking me to go look at the moon with him. I have other text messages.
Listen to me.
We never went out to dinner.
Listen to me. You're not a victim.
I'm not.
You're not a victim.
Not saying that
you're
I
not,
am.
You're not a victim. You needed money, and if you needed money, and if he wanted to give it to you because he was, I don't know, smitten in high school, that's the only reason somebody would give you $4,500.
And it's because
But
she
they
had a
only have
daughter.
20. What?
And because of her daughter. I have 4 kids, and I know what it's like to have your kids taken away. I didn't want that happening to her.
She wasn't having her kids taken away. Her daughter was with
That's
her.
what she was afraid of.
I was not afraid of that.
No.
I have a
No.
restraining order on this person.
Shh. Don't speak. But that's not what she was afraid of. She's the plaintiff in the action, sir. She's the plaintiff in the action.
I understand that, but she had no attorney, but he did. So that's what she was afraid of.
She's the plaintiff in the action. He wasn't asking for custody. She's the plaintiff in the action. I don't know under what circumstances she's the plaintiff in the action. However, I think, Ms. Camello, that you should stop paying him back $20 a week. I think that was your agreement.
That was not. I actually have.
Oh, I'd like to see those.
Okay.
That would make it not to worry about paying him back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, not to pay him.
Shh. I'm going to read them.
Okay.
I'm going to read them.
The first set I have.
No, just show me. Don't read it.
Okay. Let me see. Here's that agreeing. He's agreeing.
Don't tell me what he's doing. I'll read it and interpret it myself.
Here, I'll give. Here you go.
No, don't give me all that junk.
Well, I'll have to look through, Your Honor.
I'm not listening to. Oh, well, clearly, if this is what you're showing me, Miss Camello, the plaintiff expected to be repaid because you say to him, hey, good morning. I wanted to know if you would be okay with me waiting to see at court, if this is July 4th, if the judge makes Alan pay my attorney's fees. And if so, I'm hoping I could just give it all back to you in one lump sum.
Yes.
Quiet. If that's not okay, after paying my bills, I have a little money left, and I can give you at least a little payment back to start off with. Just let me know, and happy 4th. So now we have clearly a loan.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh, this is very nice of him. It shows that he's a nice person and you're not.
Way, but it's not that way.
Okay. No, that's it. That's way.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Todd Moody claims former friend Nancy Camello borrowed money to fight a custody battle and refuses to pay him back.
Now, you say to him, hey, good morning. I wanted to know if you would be okay with me waiting to see if the judge makes Alan pay my attorney's fees. And if so, I'm hoping I could just give it all back to you in one lump sum. So now we have clearly a loan, because you say, I can give it back to you, I hope, in one lump sum if the court orders somebody else to pay my counsel fees. Because I don't work.
Yes,
and the thing that you, one of the things that you don't do, one of the things that you don't do if you have difficulty taking care of one child is having another one.
Well, I was engaged to this person, Your Honor.
There's no question. There's no question out there for you.
And I cannot predict the future.
There's no question out there for you. What you just gave me supports the plaintiff's allegation that you understood you had to give this money back. You were hoping, but if they didn't, you had a little left over from what you get every month, and you could start to make payments. That's what you say in the text.
I'm sorry, I have to look through these. There's some other text messages where he's saying otherwise, agreeing to other things. But
well, I'd like to see them. But right now, the text dated July 4th acknowledges a loan. Now, if what you want to show me is that he forgave the loan, because right now, this acknowledges a loan. So only show me where he forgave the loan.
If I may have a moment to look for that.
You can have all the time you need.
Okay, here we go. Let me see. Let me see. Well, here's one.
I need the date of this.
There's no date on that one?
No. Oh, this is very nice of him. It shows that he's a nice person and you're not. It says, okay.
It looks a certain way, but it's not that way.
Okay. No, that's it. That's way.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook.
This is very nice of him. It shows that he's a nice person and you're not. It says, okay.
It looks a certain way, but it's not that way.
Okay. No, that's it. That's way. Okay, he says to you, but I'm not in a rush, and if it causes you to be short on anything, please let me know. I don't want to be added stress. I'd rather you take longer than not have money for your bills or your kids.
Your Honor, he began asking me out after he gave me the money. I refused him. I have a text of him telling me he wants to buy me Chanel perfume. I told him no.
Do me a
I don't
favor.
want
I don't
him.
listen to me.
I said no.
Listen to me. I don't give a rat's behind about whether or not he wanted to take you out afterwards.
Well, he's
at the time,
suing me because I
I'm
said
speaking.
no
I'm
to
speaking.
him.
Listen, you don't look that much of a prize. Let's move further. You
That's
acknowledge
really
in the text
rude.
and you acknowledge in the texts that you gave me that it was a loan. He was a nice guy. He said, so you can't give it back to me all at one time, because at first you said, I think the judge is going to let me get the counsel fees from Alan, who was evidently the father of this one-year-old. Didn't happen, so I can pay you back little bits at a time, because I don't want to stress you. If you need more time, take more time. And the response to that niceness is you're saying, well, he really was harassing me because he really wanted more from me than just friendship and being a nice guy. And that's why he's doing his judgment for the plaintiff. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,500. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He liked playing video games and staying at home with the dog. That was it.
A defiant son.
I said, Nicholas, if you're choosing to not go to college.
I want the dog back.
And he said no.
Next Judge Judy.
He stalked me. He wouldn't leave me alone. He wouldn't stop asking me out.
Stalking, that's funny, because I wasn't stalking her. I was at my house. Never. The only time I went over there was when she invited me over to give her the money.
He continuously asked me out, and I said no. I don't want to go out with you.
I asked her out to dinner because I know what it's like to be depressed. Don't sit in the house. It's going to make it worse.
I told him that I was very depressed with what I was going through and to please leave me alone.
She called me crying. I didn't answer my phone. And so I called her back. I texted her, are you okay?
I told him that I needed money.
No, horrible. She started telling me what was wrong. So I started talking to her. She said, needed money.
Then he said, don't worry about it.
I had it. She's a friend since high school. And I didn't want to see her lose her kid, so I helped her out.
And then he started posting things on social media.
I thought I was helping a friend, not somebody who just wanted my money and then be gone.
It doesn't matter at this point. It's done. It's over.
Nobody else is getting money unless her family.
I don't ever want to see his face again, and I want to leave now.
A divorcing dad.
It's a family dog that I bought.
The fact that you purchased the dog is totally irrelevant.
A defiant son.
He liked playing video games and staying at home with the dog. That was it. Didn't want to go anywhere.
You were clashing with your 17, 18-year-old son. Been there, done that.
A divided family.
I said, Nicholas, if you're choosing to not go to college.
I want the dog back.
And he said no.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Sean Pitcher is suing his son, 18-year-old Nicholas Pitcher, for the return of his husky, Luna.
Order. All rise. Your Honor's case number 145 on the calendar. Been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Pitcher, this is your son, and he's 18. This is what I gather from reading your papers. You and his mother have been separated for about 5 years, but never finally divorced. And your son has sort of moved freely between your house and his mother's house.
Yeah, we have shared custody, so...
So he moves easily
50.
between
Yeah.
both homes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the shared custody a court order, sir, or is it something that you've worked out with his mother?
It's a temporary court order.
And when was that put into effect?
In 2015.
And it's been working reasonably well?
Yes.
Now, did you stay in the marital home, or did your wife stay in the marital home?
We actually had properties in North Carolina and Florida and a couple businesses, so we put them all for sale, and we both moved to Florida.
Okay, so you now each have your own residences
Yes.
in Florida. How far away are they from each other?
Approximately 20 miles, about 10 miles is Midway.
And is this your daughter?
Yes.
How old is she?
She's 14.
And do you also have shared custody of your daughter?
Yes, all of our kids. We have 5 children.
Okay. Now, this case involves a dog. It involves probably a lot more than a dog, but for me, I only have to deal with the dog. This dog's name is Luna.
Yes.
And when was Luna purchased?
About 3 years ago.
To Florida?
Yes.
And you have another dog?
Yes. We've actually had several dogs throughout the last 4 years.
How many?
Well, not counting that household, we've had 3.
In the last 5 years. And what happened to those dogs?
So the one was a German Shepherd, and she ended up getting cancer in her left paw, and it spread pretty quickly, and she ended up passing away. And then the third dog is a English Bulldog, which we have now.
And when was the English Bulldog purchased?
Approximately a year ago.
And that was purchased in your home?
Yes. So was Luna.
Now, what kind of a dog is Luna?
Husky.
And who was with you when you purchased Luna?
All the kids.
Now, when your son visited his mother, or the custody went to his mother, whatever, when he was with his mom, did Luna go with him?
Periodically, not all the time.
When you say periodically, would you say 50% of the time Luna
No.
went with him?
Much less.
Is that correct?
No, there was a period of time where she continuously went with me between him and my mother's house. But then starting back in January, he would refuse to let her go back and forth anymore.
Starting this past January.
Yes.
In January, she was with you.
January, she stayed with him.
Until when?
Until about February.
And where has the dog lived since February?
With me at my mother's house.
Is that correct, Mr. Pitcher's mother, at his mother's house since February of this year?
That is correct, but there were stipulations.
I don't care what the stipulations are. I'm thinking about the actual physical presence of the dog in a house other than your house. Now, what other dogs are there in your mother's house?
We have a Canadian Pointer, and she was a rescue, pretty old. She's black and white as well.
So you have one other dog?
Yes.
And Luna?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to tell me the circumstances in February of Luna going to your wife's house with your son, because he has been living with his mother since February. Is that what I
Yes.
gather from here? February, March, April, May, June, July. We're now in August, so for almost 7 months.
So each of our kids have a chore at my house. And Nicholas's primary chore was to take care of the dogs. He also had to clean his room and do his laundry, which we ended up having to bring down. Because that was his chore, he became attached to that dog, kind of assumed it was his own. It's always been...
Don't tell me what his assumption
Well,
is.
he was requesting, as of January, we've always had, or since about December, we were having problems communicating because he didn't like following the rules. Part of the requirement of having the dog in the house up at his room was he had to clean up after the dog and watch the dog. I found the dog chewing on AA batteries, which could have been very dangerous. And so I agreed that he needed to go to, and we had
All right,
to...
you were clashing with your 17, 18-year-old son.
Exactly.
I got it.
Standard
I've
stuff.
been there, understand that, understand all that. You were clashing with your son, just like occasionally your daughter is going to clash with her mother.
Exactly.
That's what girls do with their mother, and that's what boys do with their father.
So he was going to go to college, so I said, if you want to take the dog to your mom's house, I don't mind, but number one, we have to go to therapy together, and number two, when you go to college, you need to return the dog. I had concerns that he was getting too attached to the dog and he's going to college. So when he goes to college, he can't take the dog to his dorm room, and so he started to find a therapist, and he wanted to take the dog, and he had a big argument with me about it. And I said, Nicholas, we're still not going to therapy yet. You haven't fulfilled kind of the agreement that we're having that you can take the dog to your mom's house and you can stay with your mom, because he was getting ready to graduate high school. So I had those stipulations. He came in February sometime, and I have the text message, and he was like, listen, the dog needs to come with me. And I got frustrated with him, and I said, fine, you can take the dog, but we still had the therapy scheduled. So I actually ended up letting him take the dog before we went to therapy, even though my initial stipulation was we'd have to go to therapy. We went to that first therapy session, and when it was his time to say why we're there, he asked me to leave. He was 18 at the time, so I left the room, and I don't know what else happened in the room. Next time we need to go to therapy, let me know. He never called me again. I assumed he was still going to therapy because he had what his mom and I had discussed was some anxiety about kind of going out into the world. He liked playing video games and staying at home with the dog. That was it. Didn't want to go anywhere. Right before his graduation, I found out he quit his job. He was not going to go to college. He had been accepted to an East Coast college that we went and toured in October. And he was going through testing in high school right then, so I wasn't going to instantly ask for the dog back. So I waited until he graduated, and 5 days after he graduated, I sent him a text message and I said, Nicholas, if you're choosing to not go to college, not to complete your education...
I want the dog back.
I want the dog back.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And he said no.
Got it. Nicholas.
Yes.
It sounds to me as if you have very involved parents. You would say too involved. You're 18. But they are very involved parents. I mean, many of the parents that I see here are not involved parents. They wouldn't think of saying, listen, things aren't going well between us. Let's see if we can get to the cause of this problem and see if we could work it out. They'd say, you don't like that? Goodbye, my heir. Here's the door, goodbye. So it seems as if things have been going pretty well over the last 5 years with shared custody, parents who have both tried, despite the fact that they don't get along, but they've tried to co-parent the 5 of you. From my own information of this case, what are your plans?
My plans?
Your plan.
Okay, well, I got a job at a movie theater. I'm a box office attendant.
And you intend for that to be your career?
Not necessarily. I would also like to learn day trading and trade the stock market.
Okay, well, day trading is very interesting. A little education would help you in that direction. What school were you accepted to in the East? I
was accepted to Embry-Riddle.
Had you visited it?
Yes, once.
Did you like it?
Yep, the school was nice.
And what was it that caused you to decide not to go?
Mostly financial. I wasn't getting that much financial aid, and both my parents said that they weren't going to help me pay for it.
So you didn't want to go into a hole for school?
Yes.
Did you explain that to your father?
I did not explain it to my father, because this happened after we separated.
Is this the first you're hearing that the financial was part of the reason that he decided not to go? Is this the first time you're hearing it?
It's the first time that that's the reason being used, yes.
Okay. Is it accurate that other than the financial aid that he was getting at the school, that he was on his own for the purposes of loans for the rest of tuition?
So in November, I told Nicholas, because we went in October, and we were waiting for his acceptance. So I told him in November to start applying for the grants. The school has a whole list of grants.
He didn't apply for grants?
He didn't do any
Applied
of
for
them.
the grants. Okay.
So finances were the problem.
Well, now he's saying he really go-getters and applied to all of these nuanced grants around the country, and some are not. And he's one of the nots. So right now you're working at a theater.
Yes.
And it sounds to me as if you have the ability to do reasonably well on your SATs.
Yes.
So are you foreclosing college or some sort of a trade place as something for you to do?
I would consider it in the future once I have savings, but right now I don't want to go into debt.
Okay. Did you discuss that with your mother?
Yes.
Does your mother work?
She is a realtor.
So she works?
Yes.
And I assume you're working?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, Nicholas, you're living with your mom and Luna.
Yes.
And you've been living with your mom and Luna, who is 3, and I assume she was a puppy when you got her.
Yes.
And I assume that based upon what your father has told me, is that Nicholas, while Luna was living with you, cared for, in his own way, despite the fact that he almost ate a battery. Luna was in his room. He treated Luna as if the dog was his dog.
Well, his chore was to take care of the dogs. The dog did...
There were 2 dogs. His chore was to take care of both dogs.
He took both dogs to his room. He was allowed to take both dogs to his room if he cleaned up after him. So then there was a point where, and that's why he got mad at me, he wasn't cleaning up after him, so I said, and so on. I said, the dog is going to go out by the barn in a doghouse. And that's where he really got upset and wanted to take it to his mom's and stay with his mom, because I would no longer allow the dog to be in the house if he wasn't going to clean up after her.
Who takes care of the other dogs in your house?
So Chloe takes care of the horses and the other animals. So each child has kind of their own.
Fine. So Chloe takes care of the horses.
Now Anthony, my other son, takes care of BB, who's the last dog that's left.
And your other son, he's 10.
No. So we have 5 children between us, and 3 years ago I met a girl, and she had 2 kids where the dad wasn't really involved. So I've pretty much taken them in. I consider them my daughter and son as well. And he's 14, same as Chloe. And
so he takes care of BB.
He takes care of BB now. And he ought also, because remember, Nico was only there half the time. So when Nicholas was gone, he was the one that would fill in for Nico, taking care of BB and Luna.
Unless it was during those times when Nicholas took...
It was very rare, yes.
Unless it was
that's true.
during those times that Nicholas took Luna to his mother's house.
But then he still took care of BB because BB wasn't going to Angela's house.
Who?
Anthony.
Anthony,
Yeah.
your girlfriend's son.
Yes.
So other than those few times when Luna stayed at home, when your son went to his mother's house, and since February of this year, Luna has...
So, Your Honor, we went to Spain in November, and before that, Luna had only went to Angela's house one time. Literally,
Okay.
I have the text message where...
Okay.
So only after November did she start going more often to Angela's.
Fine.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Actually, Nicholas never asked me for the dog. Chloe is the one. That's why I had her here with me. Chloe asked to buy the dog as early as August of 2015. And we
Well,
looked
how did Chloe feel about Luna going to stay with her mother? How did you feel about that?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sean Pitcher says his son, Nicholas Pitcher, is wrongfully withholding his husky, Luna.
So would you say that after November of last year that Nicholas started to spend more time at his mother's and take Luna with him?
Not every time.
I didn't say every time,
Yeah.
but you just said it's more
he started
often
to take
in
her more
November.
often, yes,
So
exactly.
now we're talking about December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August.
So in January 16th, Angela wrote me a text message asking if I could reconsider allowing him to take her.
I got that.
So in May, I requested the dog back. It's just been that long since May.
I don't care whether you requested the dog back. You know, I believe that you think you're right. Your son broke a contract with you.
Well, so I have other kids that aren't at Angela's house, right? I have 3 other kids now. I have Anthony and Leah, and then we had a baby in April that have all been involved with Luna, too. They don't get to see Luna at all. It's a family dog that I bought. Matter of fact, actually, Nicholas never asked me for the dog. Chloe is the one. That's why I had her here with me. Chloe asked to buy the dog as early as August of 2015, and we looked at...
How did Chloe feel about Luna going to stay with her mother? How did you feel about that?
Well, I think Nico had mainly, cared for her, so I think that he was really attached to her, so...
Okay. Okay, I'm not going to ask her anymore. You seem like a family that's got it all together, and I'm not going to put one person against the other. I've sort of got the situation in my head. Mr. Pitcher, I think you are a good father. I think you are a good, loving, caring father. I think that you want to see the best for your children. I think that right now and for the last 8 months, which is almost a third of the dog's life, the dog
Your
has...
Honor,
I'm speaking. The dog has lived with his primary caretaker, which is Nico, is that what they call you? The dog is 3. He's been primarily with Nico for the last 8 months, which is a third of his life. Now, to bring him back to your house, that would mean that I am disrupting the dog.
No, the dog...
This is not a give and take, Mr. Pitcher.
Your Honor,
Mr. Pitcher, did you hear how I sat quietly and listened to you give me information on which I have to make a judgment? What I'm saying to you is, very simply, I either remove the dog from one child, and I'm speaking, and put it in another child. Right now, the fact that you purchased the dog is totally irrelevant.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You keep saying no to me. This works to your advantage. If you would just paid attention, maybe you would see that it works to your advantage.
Okay.
Don't tell me what you said. This is not your time to talk. This is your time to listen.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sean Pitcher says his son, Nicholas Pitcher, is refusing to return his husky, Luna.
Right now, the fact that you purchased the dog is totally irrelevant. It's irrelevant to this because, I'm speaking, because you have not divorced. So anything that you and your wife buy is marital property.
We had already done equitable distribution as a final judgment, Your Honor. So all money...
Just a second.
Okay.
In what year?
In 20... I have a copy of it.
Just a second.
Okay.
In 2016. Just give me the month in 2016.
I have to find the copy.
Was it January of 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
Your wife says it was January in 2016.
I'll believe that. It's fine. But we said...
Okay.
Don't
tell me what you said. This is not your time to talk. This is your time to listen. So, if you did your equitable distribution in January of 2016, when was Luna purchased?
It was the equitable distribution...
That's a date.
It went back to our separation, is what I'm saying.
When was Luna purchased?
November 20th of 2015.
Okay, so Luna was purchased prior... Just a second. You keep saying no to me. This works to your advantage. If you would just paid attention, maybe you would see that it works to your advantage. If Luna was purchased in 2015,
yes,
Luna was marital property that should have been addressed in the separation agreement that you both signed in January of 2016. Was there any mention of Luna in that agreement of January 2016?
Nothing specific.
Nothing.
Yes.
Okay, then I can make a decision de novo on Luna. And my decision is, the dog has been in primary residence with your wife and your 18-year-old son. I see no valid reason to change that now. And that is despite the fact that I think that you made an agreement with your father. I think that, when did you turn 18?
I turned 18 in February.
Was that before or after you made an agreement with your father to go for therapy?
It was after I made the agreement to go to therapy.
And you didn't. So I want you to know you had an agreement with your father. And on a grown-up level, not a legal level, but on a grown-up level, that was an agreement that you should have adhered to, especially the therapy part. Even if the therapist that you went to had an opinion that was inconsistent with yours. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, dog's staying where it is. I'm just suggesting that as a parent, you might want to try again and let Nicholas select a therapist.
He made an agreement, and now he's breaking it. What is he learning as an 18-year-old?
We're done.
Why is that excused when they step out?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He didn't even create the website.
She didn't get what she paid for. He did do something for you.
Correct.
If you're not satisfied with someone's work, you don't pay them nothing.
Judge Judy.
Following the rules. It's been an issue with all the older kids. And
well, I usually always say yes to him. I think this is finally one of those times where I put my foot down and said no, and he didn't like that.
You know, if you have the choice of following the rules in one home or pretty much having some freedom in another home, where do you want to be?
I believe I want to make my own way. I don't want to do what he wants me to do.
I think he's able to stay there, and you know, she doesn't want to be the bad guy and be...
He makes his own decisions. I just try to give him a good home.
Forced him to do some of the things that she needs to do as a parent.
And support.
I hope Nicholas makes better decisions and decides to actually go to college.
I would hope so. I'd love to have a relationship with my father.
That's my real, at the end of the day. I hope that ends up that way.
Hopefully down the line, but right now, I mean, he sued me, so that takes some time to heal.
A web designer won the job.
You thought that the cost of $1,000 was reasonable.
Yes, Your Honor.
But then lost the client.
He didn't even create the website.
It's not worth $1,000. She didn't get what she paid for. Mr. Penn left him totally without compensation. If you're not satisfied with someone's work, you don't pay them nothing.
This is Judge Judy. Melanie's Gaskin is suing graphic designer Loston Penn for scamming her out of $1,000 after he failed to deliver a website and promotional materials.
Order. All rise. It's case number 134 on the calendar in the matter of Gaskin versus Penn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Gaskin, what you're alleging is that Mr. Penn, who you hired to do a website for your business and some other things, business cards and a banner, I don't know what that is, but that's also on the website. You paid him for it.
Yes.
And you claim that he didn't do it. And you had his bank reverse the charge.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Penn appealed that, sent the bank, I assume, copies of what he sent to you. They reversed the charge and withdrew the $1,000 that you had paid him from your account.
Yes, Your Honor.
You then say, in the interim, you hired someone else to complete the website and paid that other person. So we're going to go through this step by step, but I want you to understand where my head is when I look at your facts, which you just agreed were accurate. Now, I assume that when you hired Mr. Penn, you were a business person and you thought that the cost of $1,000 for what he was going to provide you was reasonable.
Yes, Your Honor.
Otherwise, of course, you wouldn't have paid him.
Correct.
And by acknowledging that you hired someone else to, what you say, finish the job at far less of a cost than what you had paid to the defendant, you are acknowledging that his work that he did for you was of some value. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
But the numbers themselves suggest that Mr. Penn did, at minimum, $400 worth of work for you. That's what you're admitting to me.
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
No, well, you are. Because if you are a business person and you paid Mr. Penn $1,000 because you thought his fee was reasonable, and you paid, according to you, and these are your words, someone $600 to complete the work, you are acknowledging that Mr. Penn did at least $400 worth of work. There's no question in my mind, unless much as you should have to do the website, which I don't believe, and which you don't say. So do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. So that's not a fraudulent reversal. If you think that you didn't get what you paid for, then you can put a partial stop or you can sue him. But what you did was not give him any money for the work that he did do for you that was completed by someone else at far less money. It wasn't that you said to me I had to destroy everything that he gave me and this new designer had to start from scratch.
He did,
and I
Your
got
Honor.
this? No, I don't believe that. Are you the designer? No, I don't believe that because that's not even what you say here. We understand each other?
I understand, Your Honor.
Very good. Now, may I see what it is that you provided
Yes,
to
ma'am.
the plaintiff?
Thank you.
Now, I would like to see what you say he provided to you.
He just provided me
Don't say anything. Hand it to me.
He didn't provide a website. He only provided me proof, which what you have right now, because I don't have anything from him, but emails of the proof of the business cards that he designed.
Did you send her business cards?
Yes, ma'am.
I did not get them. I don't have anything. I don't have business cards. I don't have banners.
I want you to get me a business card from your person. Else $600 to complete the work.
Yes,
If you
I
paid
don't have those.
Do you have someone else in your office now?
No, Your Honor.
Then I'm not believing you. Do you still run your business?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then I don't believe
I have a website up right now.
I don't believe someone who runs a business does not keep a card in their wallet. So I want to see if it's the same card as what he gave you.
I can
or if
show
it
you a
pers-
proof.
Or if it's a different card.
I don't have anything from the defendant.
No. I'm not asking you anything from the defendant. You said you didn't receive anything. He said he sent it. Pay careful attention to me. You said you paid someone $600 to complete the project. You said part of the project was business cards.
Yes.
Which means that you paid the someone else $600 to do business cards
I paid
for you.
someone to design them. I had to print them.
Just
we did
a
not.
sec-
We
just a
did not
second.
print them.
Just.
The new developer did not
just
print
a-
them for me.
This was done a while ago. Are you telling me that you didn't print business cards?
I printed. I sent it
Then
to
I
Vista
want
Print.
to. I want.
I don't
to
have
see
the
that.
business cards,
Then I
Your Honor.
don't believe you. Do
Okay,
you
Your Honor.
understand?
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes. I have them at home. I did not think that I had to bring them.
Well, that's unfortunate because that's what we're doing here. We're here to decide your case. And so far, you said you gave someone else $600 to complete the job, and with a pro forma for the business cards, that's what he did because that's what I have here.
Your Honor,
Pro
I have a
forma-
document right here showing what I paid for. It says 500 double-sided flyers and print. I didn't get the print. I didn't get the double-sided business cards. I didn't get anything. He didn't even create the website.
You're not following what I'm saying to you, madam. Maybe you're following me, but you don't like what I'm saying to you. You said in your complaint that you paid someone $600 to do the rest of the job and to complete the job. What you're telling me is that part of that job was to do business cards.
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
what you're telling me is you paid someone else $600
To design
that
the
did
business
not.
card.
Well, he designed the business cards, too.
I didn't use those.
Well, that's not his fault. That's not his fault. That's your fault. And I don't know what you used because you don't have them with you.
The new developer had to redo the website. He had to redo the banner.
Listen to me.
That was not including the print. And that's why I only paid him $650 because he didn't print them. He doesn't offer that. But the defendant does, and that's what I paid for. And I didn't get anything from him.
That's not what he says.
I didn't get anything from him. He doesn't have a UPS tracking number or anything to provide me showing that he sent them.
Well, he provided the...
So I have the proof that was not approved.
I'm speaking. He provided, evidently, that he sent these things to you. What did you send to the bank?
I have it.
I'd like to see it.
Because he fraudulently copied and pasted things.
I'd like to see what he sent to the credit card
It doesn't make any sense.
He was going to pay you back.
He typed the website up there. That's not even my domain.
Is this what you sent to the credit card company before I
If I
get in?
just take a look at it, please.
Melanie, show the proof he was going to give you back.
My proof is way more factual
That's what the
than
bank
that.
sent me. Chase sent me that.
So,
well, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that they got.
I didn't get anything from him.
Yes, sir.
first off, it's a pleasure to meet you, Your Honor.
Don't tell me it's
So-
pleasure.
yeah,
I know.
understand.
You're over the moon.
With the evidence that I provided you, it was for a retractable banner, flyers, business cards with print as well, too.
Are you speaking to her?
I'm not.
Oh. So, being that it was so long ago, all the evidence that I did send over to PayPal, usually after 90 days, they do clear it out of the queue from the claims
Don't
that
tell
you
me
do
what they
have.
usually do.
I was able to get it.
Oh, I'm respecting you, so...
If you're not satisfied with someone's work, you don't pay them nothing. Listen to me.
Your Honor,
If you're
I didn't
not-
receive anything. How can I be
if you're not-
satisfied with something I haven't received?
I don't believe that
But
you're
he
not.
was supposed to print that. I got that in the email. I'm not going to lie, but I didn't get that printed, and that was part of the package.
Did you
You
get
were
this?
satisfied on social media, though.
That's what you
I'm
sent to the
sorry.
bank.
Case is dismissed. We're done. Now you want to be quiet?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's just that easy. I say goodbye to you. It's just that easy. Did you get this?
I got that in the email as a proof.
That's a yes or a not yes.
I received that, but not in print.
Did you receive this?
I got that in the email,
That's all I'm asking you. Did you receive this?
No, I did not. I seen this on social media. This is an old website that I had with another business that I did. This has nothing to do with Mr. Penn.
So this is the one that you did
I saw on
receive.
Facebook.
May I see?
Correct. This is not something that Mr. Penn created for me.
I got it. I just want to see the one that you got from him.
Correct.
You got this one from him.
He posted that on Facebook.
I want to know, did he furnish this to you?
He put that particular image on a logo that he sent to me in an email.
Other than the 3 items that I've sent to you, did you have any other communication with Mr. Penn back and forth about creativity for these business cards for your business?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So Mr. Penn did do something
He did
for
something.
you.
Correct.
Right. And for that, Mr. Penn cannot be totally left without compensation.
Correct.
But you left him totally without compensation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Okay. You left him totally without compensation. Now, that's partially your fault as a businesswoman, because I would say you want to do this website, it's $1,000. I'll give you $500 now, and I'll give you $500 when the website is complete, and I get everything. Now, may I see the package, the silver package of things that you bought from him? And Mr. Penn, now I'm going to come to you, and we're going to be very, very particular.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Is what you're telling me that the contract you had with him was totally by text message selecting this $1,000 package? That's either a yes or a no?
Yes, Your Honor.
So there wasn't a formally written contract. You say, Mr. Pez is speaking to you today, and the silver package might be the best due to you already have your domain and hosting. I will substitute it with the business, the logo design, $125 on the house. Okay, you get 500 double-sided flyers and business cards and print a 2x6 retractable banner and stand, single-page website with domain and hosting. This comes with design and shipping. Okay. This is a single-page website. So this is what you said is a single-page website, is that it?
No, ma'am, that's not
what
the website.
What is a single, what is it?
That right there is part of the retractable banner. It just cut off when I printed it off.
Okay, so this is the banner.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the banner design and business card design.
That's all the designs that came with the package.
Okay, now, you were supposed to send her 500 double-sided flyers.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have proof that you sent those?
No, ma'am.
You were supposed to send her 500 double-sided business cards.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you send those?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any proof that
No,
you
ma'am.
sent those?
And I can't
Who do you
explain.
use-
I can't explain.
I would like to hear it.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We did have a phone conversation after
Did
that.
not have a, I have not.
And she told me to go ahead and print everything off.
He never did call me, Your Honor. The only time I talked to him on the phone was when I initially placed the order. I have emails showing that he was going to call me. He never did.
Real cases.
Gaskin says, graphic designer lost in pen, scammed her regarding a website and promotional materials.
Who do you use as a printer?
At the time, it was all pro color.
How long have you used All Pro Colors?
I want to say it was going on about 6 months.
Did you pay All Pro Colors?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you pay them for 500 double-sided flyers?
I want to say between $410 or $420.
And who do you deal with there at All Pro Colors?
Usually just go on the website and you place the order, but I have a, what is it called? I'm trying to think of the word. Basically, I get things for a cheaper price there than what they'll sell to the community.
Are you still doing this work, sir? You said you've been doing it for a very long time.
Yes, ma'am. It's been going on 8 years.
Great. So you would have a receipt for her work.
Through PayPal, but I don't even use them anymore. I use Square.
All Pro Colors, however, would have a receipt that
Yes,
they
ma'am.
did that for you, right?
Yep, but I do not think that they are in business no more, so I had to find another vendor.
What do you mean you don't think that they're in business anymore? Why did you stop using them?
Because of delays with me having to, it only happened twice where I had to refund 2 clients because their shipping did take longer than what it was projected.
Was the plaintiff one of them?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And were the other 2 way before? Why were you still using them?
Until I could find another vendor. And I did successfully find another vendor.
But not for her work.
No, ma'am.
Her work was done by All Pro Colors.
And I sent the tracking to PayPal as soon as I got it because I stayed on top of it.
In what month and year did you send the tracking to PayPal?
I want to say she made the claim in October of 2018.
And in order for PayPal to reverse that, is what you're saying you have to send them the tracking number?
The tracking number is the proof of the design, and usually takes up between 30 to 75 business days for them to come up with a decision.
When did you get a response from PayPal?
I actually got a response to Chase, who got a response to PayPal, and I have the information from PayPal.
I'd like to see it, please.
And there was no tracking number in there. And I have an email saying that he was going to refund me.
I'd like to see it. Well, he said, I can do $650 due to the time that was spent on designing. And you say to him on the same date, if you can refund everything, that would be great. And then there is a thank you for letting me know, but I had no control over the hurricane. And can you give me a second chance, or do you want me getting materials? What?
During that day, I want to say it was October the 14th.
It is.
When she asked me to refund her everything, we did have a phone conversation after
Did
that.
not have a, I have not.
And
Don't
she told
speak
me
to
to
me.
go ahead and print everything off.
He never did call me, Your Honor. The only time I talked to him on the phone was when I initially placed the order. I have emails showing that he was going to call me. He never did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you understand what I said? You paid $1,000 to...
I'm not going to pay $600 to him for a piece of paper when I pay another developer.
I didn't.
To do everything.
You didn't even hear me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Melanie's Gaskin claims graphic designer, lost in pen, failed to deliver a website and promotional materials.
Now, you wrote this to him. Hi, Louis, the only design I've seen is the business card and the logo, which needed revisions. I don't think that's worth $650. If you are saying that you've spent that much designing, we're supposed to talk on Friday to discuss the revisions, but we didn't connect. As I stated in my last email, it needs some revision, but at this point I haven't seen anything but the design for those 2 items. I definitely understand someone was going to be responsive, at least, so I don't think this will work out. Okay, so Mr. Penn, you have to be compensated for the design work that you did. I've sort of explained that to Miss Gaskin, whether she likes it or not, that you have to be compensated for the work that you did, even though she may not have used it. She may not have used it for business cards. She may not have used it, and you can't demonstrate to me a tracking number or anything else for the work that you allegedly sent to her, because all that she says that you sent, and you do not deny in these emails, is you sent her the design for the webpage and her business cards. That's what you say. Now, how much time did that take you to do? Is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am. About 2 weeks.
Are you telling me it took you 2 full weeks and all you worked on were these 2 pages?
No, ma'am.
How many hours did you spend designing?
It took time to draw her out as her logo. It took time to create the business cards. I wanted to start the logo first so then we can do the branding and reflect
what
off
I'm
of
asking
that.
you, I'm trying to come up with a number, sir. It's not worth $1,000. She didn't get what she paid for. So you have to come up with a number, or else I'll be arbitrary and pick a number.
I want to say what I said earlier, Your Honor.
That you spent 2 weeks doing these 2 pages.
To complete the designs.
Judgment for the plaintiff, because they reversed your charges in the amount of $400. We're finished.
You didn't get anything. Nothing.
Listen to me.
Your Honor,
I didn't
I
get
didn't even know
anything.
her.
Did you understand? Did you understand what I said? You paid $1,000 to...
I'm not going to pay $600 to him for a piece of paper when I pay another developer.
I didn't.
To do everything.
You didn't even hear me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I gave you $400 because you were suing him for much more than $1,000. You were suing him for fraudulently.
He defamed my character. He went on Facebook. No, I got messages showing what you have here.
Excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We found tufts of hair and broken pieces of fence on our property.
It didn't happen, Your Honor. Nobody witnessed these dogs being attacked.
It did happen. His dog was attacked. His dog was injured.
Judge Judy.
As far as Louis, I don't wish him the best of luck at anything.
I won't disrespect you, so don't disrespect me.
I've never used any of his product. I never printed anything.
Because she's a scammer.
I've never used any of it.
I had proof where they said that she goes through a lot of vendors.
Definitely, tell people to stay away from that company.
And 9 times out of 10 that she does the chargebacks or the claims.
I don't agree with paying him $600 just to get a piece of paper and stuff that he designed.
So the lies and speculations, I'm just glad I was able to come here and defend my company.
Did her new tenant have a secret past?
You found out that he had a more serious criminal history.
She knew my criminal history before I even moved in.
You were released from prison 2 years before.
Now she's terrified about today.
Did you post this?
Yes, I did.
Considering your history, I wouldn't have put this up for a millisecond. This is pretty dumb.
This is Judge Judy.
Craig Deal is suing his former landlord, Jennifer Zachrison, for the return of rent and security deposit, hotel costs, and an illegal lockout.
Order. All rise. It's case number 166 on the calendar, the matter of Ville versus Zachrison.
Thank you,
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. Zachrison, I'm going to start with you. That sometime in October of 2018, you made a decision for whatever financial reason that you wanted to rent a room out in your house. You put an ad in the paper or in Craigslist or something. What did you do?
Facebook.
Do you have a copy of that ad?
I sure do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Oh, bird.
You okay?
I thought I was going blind. It's not that I'm going blind. It's just that I haven't cleaned my glasses and probably... Perfect. Ah! Right. Okay. 2 rooms for rent in a beautiful house, $300 deposit, 2 years consistent work history. Rent is $300 due on the 1st and the 15th. Bathroom, all utilities, laundry, about us. Mom works for a tech company. We work hard, so we play hard. We have a 16-year-old son. And then you said about you looking for someone who travels and needs a room occasionally. So you were looking for somebody to pay you a full month's rent, but only use it part-time. If I'm
I was kind of weird about sharing my bathroom with every stranger.
You're asking for somebody to pay a month's rent for a room and a bath, but who works a lot and doesn't spend much time there. Okay, well, that's nice work if you can get it.
Short term.
And it really actually doesn't make it as they want.
Sure.
In any event, the plaintiff answered your ad. In what month did he move in?
He answered my ad on November 28th, but he moved in December 1st.
And he paid you when he moved in or before?
He paid me 2 days before.
And what did he give you?
He gave me $300 deposit.
As you requested?
Yes.
And then?
And then he also gave me $600 in advance, or first month's, and $600 for last month's.
So he gave you first and last.
Right, and I wasn't actually going to take that. However,
I don't care whether you were going to take it or not going to take it. You took it.
Yep, I did. Yep.
So you got first and last rent. So he's paid for December.
Yes.
And a deposit.
Yes.
And on what date did he move out?
He moved out on May 15th.
In the middle of the month?
Yes.
At your request?
Yes.
That would be a yes or no?
Yes, it was.
That's a yes.
Yep.
Had he paid May's rent?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's a yes.
Yes, he did.
Had he paid April's rent?
Yes, and he also paid for June. So this is, he moved out 6 weeks prior.
Just a second.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want you to forget June.
So from December 1st, when he moved in, until May 1st, he was consistent in paying you his $600 a month rent.
Correct.
Did he sign a lease?
He did.
I'd like to take a look at it.
This is the original.
Do you have a copy of your lease, Mr. Vale?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
So he was actually paid until June the 30th, 2019?
Yes. Yep.
Because that was the end of the term of the lease?
Yes.
Well, one lease is different from the other.
Really?
Really? Is this the lease you gave me?
No, ma'am.
That's mine.
That's yours. And is this the lease that you gave me?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, on the lease that the plaintiff gave me, it says no alcohol on the premises.
True.
If any legal issues arise, you will be asked to leave the property within 24 hours.
Yep. And?
That's a yes. Well, that's what his says.
Okay.
And this copy is yours, which says no alcohol on premises. No women, no sleepovers. After that, if any legal issues arise, you will be asked to leave the premises. Well, so either one of two things happen. Uncross your arms. Either someone whited out no women, no sleepovers, because his doesn't have it, or someone added and made a copy and put in no women, no sleepovers.
That's the original lease, ma'am.
It's not true, Your Honor.
No, this is not the original lease. This is a copy.
I apologize. Well,
this is a copy of the original lease. So if you have the original, I would like to look at it.
Can I see what you have?
Absolutely.
Please.
Your Honor, mine was that.
No. Yep.
Just a second.
So if you notice the coffee stains on top.
No, listen to me. Don't show me coffee stains.
Okay, sorry.
Either somebody whited out no women, no sleepovers, or somebody added it, because they're both copies. So somebody has to have the original. Now, you're the landlord.
Yes.
So it would seem to me that you have an original.
Well, this is what we signed actually physically on the table.
Listen to me carefully. You sound like an intelligent woman. Whoever wrote that ad is an intelligent person. Either one of two things happened. Either the plaintiff whited out and then copied no women, no overnights, or you added, because I assume that's your handwriting.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Or somebody added those words and then copied it, because that's a copy And this is a copy. Do you understand what I said? Don't try to tell me about coffee stains. I'm not interested in coffee stains unless you have the original lease. Do you have the original lease?
This is, so I had surgery, so I had just gotten out of surgery. Paper right here. And this is what we signed.
Hey.
This is what I would consider the original lease, ma'am.
I don't care what you consider.
Okay.
You're an intelligent woman. You wrote an intelligent ad. You know exactly what I'm saying to you. Exactly what I'm saying to you. Okay, now let's move on. Right now, we have a tenant who signed the lease, who's paid up for the term of the lease from December 1st until June 30th. And you've accepted his rent from September 1st until June 30th. And on May 15th, or prior to the termination of his lease, you told him to move.
Well,
not a well. That's either a yes, which you told me before, you told him to leave. Now, what he wants are damages and his rent back and his security back. Now, what I want you to tell me is, since I am not satisfied that those words existed, no women in the house and no overnights existed in the original lease, since I'm not satisfied. I don't know whether they did or whether they didn't. So I am not going to find as an excuse for telling him to leave that he had a woman in the house. I want you to tell me why you told him to leave prior to the termination of his lease.
Because I was almost hit on my, because I was coming home.
Look here, why you told him to leave.
Because I was almost hitting my driveway. I just got a protective order for 10 years against this guy.
Not true.
Pay careful attention to me.
It's not true, Your Honor.
I read your answer. I'm not interested in your protective order. I read your reason for filing a protective order, and as far as I'm concerned, it was invalid.
Okay.
Because he didn't do anything to you. According to you, it said you found out about his history, you told him to move, and you were frightened. That's what you say in your answer.
So,
shh, listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to your inside voices. Listen to me. You found out that he had a more serious criminal history than you thought, and so you filed for a protective order against him, and probably, did you appear at that protective order?
I did, Your Honor.
Did you have an attorney?
No, I did not.
Did you consent to the protective order?
I don't quite know what that means.
Did you have a trial?
No.
Just a second. Well, either you consent to the protective order or you have a trial. Did you have a trial on the return date of the temporary protective order? You had a trial. Who testified?
No.
Who testified?
Nobody testified.
Well, if nobody testified, then you didn't have a trial.
Okay.
So either one of two things happened. Either the judge issued a protective order and your fear, or you had a trial. Either one of two things happened. And if nobody testified, you couldn't have a trial. So I want you to tell me how that happened, sir.
Your Honor, I showed up it was a hearing, I guess, basically. They asked me what I had to say about this, and basically all of it was not true. It was all lies, all made up.
I'd like to see the protective order that she filed against you.
It's right here. It's 40 pages long. Your Honor, I'd like to say she knew my criminal history before I even moved in.
No, I understand that.
No.
I understand that you were, according to you, released from prison 2 years before.
Yes.
Okay, got that. I'm just looking for what she filed. I want to see what you filed.
Oh, here's the...
Here, I have what I have that, Your Honor.
This is my copy of the finishing after the hearing.
This is the...
Hold on. Oh, I see.
Your Honor, my house was broken into, and I can't prove what it was correct, but it was his room.
Then I don't want to hear about it.
It was his room that was broken into.
Then I don't want to hear about it. Would you show this to the defendant and ask her if this is what she filed to get a protective order? Go over the last few pages.
Yeah, I'm living in fear. I had to move.
No, I'm just asking you a question.
This is
Your Honor, here's the original...
Just a second. I asked you a question. Is that what you filed in order to get a protective order?
I filed this. Yes, ma'am.
May I see it now? Did you file that picture as well? Is what I'm asking you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you post this, Mr. Veal?
It went for 24 hours. It was a long time ago, yes. Yes, I did. I forgot that I even did that.
What I'm asking you is, in 2018, do you need some time to relax? I want to tell you something. This person is not moved by tears. If you want to recall this case and compose yourself, let's do that. Outside, compose yourself and come back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Considering your history, I wouldn't have put this up for a millisecond. If you want some woman to think that you're hot as a pistol, there are other things that you could post instead of this.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Craig Veal says his former landlord, Jennifer Zachrison, illegally property damage and harassment.
Mr. Veal.
Yes.
What I was asking you was, and I still haven't gotten an answer to, in what year did you post this picture hot as a pistol?
I'm thinking 2018, but I can't remember the exact date.
And what I'm telling you, Mr. Veal, is considering your history, I wouldn't have put this up for a millisecond. If you want some woman to think that you're hot as a pistol, there are other things that you could post instead of this. This is pretty dumb. Got it?
I agree.
Okay. Now, then we go back to here in the reasons that you told the judge that you were filing for this protective order, and you filed a protective order, and you accepted rent in December. That's a yes. January, yes. February, yes. March, yes. April, yes. May, yes. All of these things, you were referring to things that happened with him well before May 1st. Some things after, but well before May 1st. So you accepted rent, and he continued to be a tenant. Between December 1st and May 1st, had you ever told the plaintiff to leave the house?
Yes.
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
When?
In April.
I'm going to ask questions. You're going to answer them. Tell me beginning, middle, end.
Yep. So I'd come home unexpectedly, and Craig had another female. So one of the reasons women in my house, he was luring women from Facebook, and his new girlfriend just recently died. He just got out of prison for murder.
I want you to pay attention and answer my questions. I'm not going to ask you about your history, madam. I'm only interested in facts.
Yep.
Now, in April, you had a discussion with him about leaving because you came home and there was a woman in the house.
Yep. And
yep.
Yes,
Listen,
yes, ma'am.
Yes is the answer.
Yes.
Okay. What was happening when you walked into the house? How did you see this woman?
Her car was in my driveway, and I asked Craig.
Car, just a minute.
Yep.
Her car was in your driveway.
Yep. Or a blue.
Just a sec. You're not paying attention.
Okay.
Car was in your driveway. What time? Morning, afternoon, or evening?
It was in the early afternoon.
And you went into your house. Did you see the woman?
No, Craig had her hidden in his bedroom.
The answer is no. She
No.
was in his bedroom that he paid for.
Sure. But was in the lease that he's not allowed to have women over.
That is not true, madam. No,
Okay.
that is not true. I've already found that I am not making a judgment with regard to whether your lease excluded or did not exclude. He whited it out, or somebody added it in and then copied it. So I'm not making a judgment about that because I'm not a forensic expert, and I assume neither of these people are either.
Well, why would the whole light? Can I see the lease? Would that be okay?
Absolutely. You can see his copy.
Absolutely.
And your
Thank you.
copy. And then you'll see what I mean when
Sure.
I said somebody
Please.
either added it or whited it out.
So why the whole?
No,
why is the whole line, the top line, missing?
Listen to me. They're two separate sentences. One says no alcohol on the premises, and the next one says if there's any violation of the lease.
This is the lease that we signed together, and he was made a copy a week later.
No,
he
I
took
was
a
not,
picture.
Your Honor.
He took a picture.
Do you understand what I just said to you?
Yes, ma'am, I know. But I just want to make sure that you know.
Then you're beating a dead horse.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So on that date in April, what did you tell him?
I told him I wasn't comfortable with him having strange women in my house, and it was something that we agreed to on the lease, verbally and on the lease.
No, you can't agree to it
I have it in
verbally when
text
you
as
have
well.
a lease.
Real cases, real people.
His former landlord, Jennifer Zachrison, illegally locked him out.
Now, So the woman was in his bedroom. And when did you have the conversation with him? Was it on that date or a subsequent date?
That date as well as after.
So on that date, in April, what did you tell him?
I told him I wasn't comfortable with him having strange women in my house. We had one bathroom. It wasn't, and it was something that we agreed to on the lease.
Just
verbally and on the lease.
No, you can't agree to it verbally when you have a lease.
I have it in text. He
Listen to me.
He admitted it. That he acknowledges no women should be in the house.
I'd like to. I'd like to see.
Thank you.
That I'd like to see.
Thanks.
It was never discussed, Your Honor.
Listen to me. Speak, unless I ask you a question.
Okay, right here. This is what I sent to him on May 30th, and
May 30th.
Yes, after he was evicted, he texted me and wanted money.
Shh, just a second. After he was evicted and he had paid rent through June, he sent you a text wanting money back.
Right.
Now I'd like to read it. And then you say there, he acknowledges that the lease said he could not have women in the house.
Yes.
See what you're writing him.
Yeah,
but
he's right. You can just scroll down to the bottom. You can just see that he acknowledged it. I also have a text here from Craig.
That he doesn't admit that that's what the lease says.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, all he says was nothing that you just talked about in a very long email to him has anything to do with you owing me money. And then you said it absolutely does. You didn't abide by the Brenton agreement and broke your lease when you decided to bring strangers into my home.
Luring women from Facebook and Tinder.
Just a second. And he says to you, you better look at the lease again.
Yep.
Just a second. And he says, I've already retained an attorney and will sue it if you do not honor our verbal and legal agreement. All perfectly right. Okay. You have to pay him, Bird, give that back to her. You have to pay him his money. You have to pay him his $300 deposit. You have to pay him the month of June, which is $600. You have to pay him the month of May, which is $600. So far, that's zero, $1,200, $1,500.
Correct. And then also, he also stored his whole entire house into my garage. So before he moved in on November...
I'm finished with her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm finished with her. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. Your counterclaims dismissed. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A roommate is reminded of his debts.
He bought a new car right after I helped him.
She says she gave you $200 towards the down payment.
She's lying.
And what about you?
Next Judge Judy.
Obviously, I just couldn't get through to her.
I'm the one that told the truth. I didn't doctor any documents as she did.
This is a guy who just got out of prison for murder for 15 years, shooting his girlfriend in the face.
I told her exactly about my criminal history.
He just said that he had a domestic violence and that he hasn't been drinking for 15 years.
I owe debt to no one. I have never been arrested since I've been out.
Oh, I was in fear. Still am. I just got a 10-year protective order on the guy.
I'm ready to put this behind me and move on with my life, and hopefully I'll never see her again.
You found the dog too difficult to care for.
A steep price for an unwanted pet.
Did you ever agree to pay her $3,500 for the dog?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
You're telling me that she agreed to pay exactly what your sister paid for a pup?
Crime.
The dog was now older. No, it doesn't get younger. It's not Benjamin Button. It gets older.
This is Judge Judy.
Sarah Denkler and her sister, Megan Collette, are suing Tina Sherman for the money owed for a French bulldog.
Order. All rise. It's case number 186 on the calendar in the matter of Collette versus Sherman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Which one is the hairstylist?
Me.
And what's your last name?
Dankler.
Okay. Miss Kellett, you are her sister?
Yes.
And you purchased a French Bulldog?
Yes.
When?
January of 2018.
From whom?
A breeder in Apple Valley, I believe.
Was this your only dog?
Yes.
Did you answer an ad, or did you actually go looking for the dog?
I believe I looked her up on Craigslist, and I drove up to go see the dog.
Did the breeder have a litter?
Yes.
How much did you pay for the dog?
$3,500.
And then you found the dog too difficult to care for?
No.
Well, there was some reason why you wanted to somehow relieve yourself of the obligation of taking care of the dog.
Well, I ended up getting a lot more busy at work, and I wasn't able to give her the time and care that she needed.
Fine.
She was still very young, so I ended up trying to give her a better home.
And you told your client, because you were a client, Miss Sherman's, of Miss Klett, because she did your hair.
She wasn't a client of mine. She was a client of my sister's. Miss Dankler's.
Miss Dankler?
Yes.
And you had a French Bulldog?
Yes, I do.
A male?
Yes.
How old was your male?
He is now 2.5.
And where did you get him?
A breeder.
From where?
Corona.
And how much did you pay for him?
$5,500.
So when you had a conversation with your hairdresser that her sister had a French Bulldog that she was looking to sell, that you acknowledge, although you say you never discussed price, you were interested. In what month and year did that conversation take place?
March of 2019.
And how old was the puppy when you got her?
She was only a couple of months.
So this was still a very young puppy. Very saleable. That's what this case is about. You picked up the puppy from your sister. You brought it over to Miss Sherman's. Miss Sherman took the puppy. Puppy was then perhaps 4 months old.
No. The dog was about a year. The vet said it was over a year. Anywhere from
Don't tell me what the vet said. She bought the puppy in January of 2018, and you got the puppy in
March of 2019.
Of 19?
Yes.
Oh, so the puppy was over a year old.
Yeah.
And that's what you're suing for, $3,500. You say that was the agreed upon price. I don't believe that. Let's start from there. Because when you buy a puppy, you pay a premium for a puppy. You want a puppy, it grows up with you, they're cute, they're adorable, you pay a little bit more. When you have a dog that's close to an adult dog, and this dog was close to an adult dog, almost a year and a half old, you don't pay the same kind of puppy premium. So if what you're telling me is that the defendant agreed to pay $3,500 for a dog that was a year and a half old, I'm telling you I don't believe that.
So when I had talked to her about purchasing the dog, I did tell her that my sister had paid $3,500
That's
for
okay.
the dog.
Oh, that's the truth.
Yes.
You said my sister paid $3,500 for the dog a year and a half ago, or a year and 4 months ago, and she can't take care of it. Now I want you to tell me the conversation that you had where you're telling me that she agreed to pay exactly what your sister paid for a puppy over a year later.
Okay, so basically...
I don't want to hear basically.
Okay, so I didn't actually bring the dog over to her house until actually late April. So that's...
The dog was now older. No, it doesn't get younger. It's not Benjamin Button. It gets older.
Right, so we had talked. I told her how old the dog was. I told her exactly...
I want to hear the conversation about cost. You've told me that you told her that your sister paid $3,500 for the dog a year and a half before.
Right.
I want you to tell me the conversation that you had with her about what your sister was selling the dog for. And bear in mind, if you tell me, once having told her that your sister paid $3,500 for a puppy, I'm not going to believe you if you tell me that she agreed to pay $3,500 for an adult dog.
Okay, so she said because the dog is certified and has papers and all that, she's still able to breed the dog, she's still able to make money off of the dog, and therefore that's why she agreed to pay the $3,500. That's the only reason.
You didn't tell me about the conversation about cost.
That's what the conversation was about.
That's the tail end of what you say was the conversation. I want to hear the whole conversation. Your sister paid $3,500. Right, and?
Yeah.
Let me hear the whole conversation.
And when I had told Tina that that's what my sister was wanting for the dog, she said that she would make payments and she was willing to pay that price because the dog would be worth a lot more when it had puppies. And
Did your dog have papers?
No.
Your dog had no papers?
My dog does not have papers.
her dog...
She told me...
Just a second.
Sorry.
If her dog doesn't have papers, and your sister's dog did have papers, you still can't breed that puppy and get papers for that litter.
I was under the impression she did have papers. She told me she
I
did
don't
have
care
papers.
what your impression was, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not believing you that you had an agreement with her to pay you $3,500 for this dog. I'm not buying it.
Well, I have the messages that say different.
Fine, great. I'd like to see them.
Okay, so here's the messages between me and my sister where she had said that
No, I don't want any messages between you and your sister. I want messages between you and the defendant. Or your sister and the defendant.
I understand.
You and the defendant, or your sister and the defendant. I'm not interested, don't look confused, I'm not interested in any messages between you and your sister which indicate that the defendant says she'll pay you $3,500 in payments, and is that okay? And she says, yes, I want to see just the texts. I don't want to see that.
Oh, okay.
I want to see only messages between your sister and the defendant, or you and the defendant.
Okay.
Don't say anything, just look for them. If you have them, fine. If you don't have them, tell me.
Have the message, Tina.
Okay, then I'd like to see it. This doesn't say anything about $3,500.
It's the only thing that's not on there is the price, but it was the agreement of she was willing to make payments, and we had talked about the price verbally.
Did you ever agree to pay her $3,500 for the dog?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Okay. How much did you agree to pay her?
I never agreed upon any dollar amount.
Okay. Well, the first part of this is to your sister, so I'm not reading that. The second part says, hey, sorry, I've been super busy. Yes, I'd love to get her, but honestly, right now, I can't swing that amount of money in one chunk. Just took a big hit in Vegas for work. But yes, I'd love to get her if your sis would be cool with working out something, like if I could give her a couple of payments or something, and then if I breed her too or something. That's what she said. Honestly, she's super... This is to your sister.
I know, but that message was from her to me.
No! I want to see the message from her to you. This is from your sister. This is nothing.
The only reason I don't have that message is because
I don't care what reason you don't have the message.
Okay, so then I have another message between me and Tina.
And show me.
Okay, here's one, and then here is...
Or let her make a circle around what she wants me to read. Make a circle around what you want me to read.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
So you dropped the dog off to her in April?
Yeah.
And then in May, you said to her, I'm coming to your house today. Like, not cool, my sister is straight tripping on me. Seriously, Sarah, honestly, what you're doing isn't cool. I mean, really, you bring the dog to me, and the first hour after you drop her off, I called you and was like, this is too much. And at that point, you tell me you don't care about the money. You just didn't want her going back to your sister. So I say, fine, I'll take her. Now I've had her over a month, and I've put up with so much for her and calmed her down and basically been all this. Where is anything here about $3,500?
Like I said, I do not have the message between me and her that say $3,500.
Very good, very good. Where's the dog now?
At Dan's house. Dan has her.
Your last name is?
Navarez.
How did you come into custody of the dog, and in what month and year?
May.
So May, June, July, August, and we're now in September. So you've had the dog about 4.5, 5 months, and you have not had the dog for 6 months. Is that right? And you clearly don't want the dog back.
If she's in a good home, that's all I wanted.
Yeah, and that's about right. You have a dog that's 1.5 years old, and if you were able to rehome the dog and to find the dog a good home, I mean, it's happened to me once or twice in my life with animals because of one thing or another, that you had to find a home for an adult animal, and you're very grateful that you find a good home, right? So now you want to find out if your dog's in a good home?
Yes.
Okay, tell me something about yourself, sir. You came into custody of this dog when you were babysitting the 2 dogs for her when she was away.
Yes.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 39.
Do you have any other dogs other than this one?
No, my girlfriend has a dog that I basically it's just both of our dogs, but it's from her. It's an older dog.
Do you live with your girlfriend?
Yes.
So you have your girlfriend's older dog and this little French bulldog.
Yes.
Who's now a couple of years old.
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I install glass. Actual vet that I know like the name of it. I've just taken it to the vet like a few times, but I don't have like an actual a vet like a single one.
When you say you took the dog to the vet a few times, for what?
It had ear mites and.
When you got it?
Yes, and then to get it vaccinated.
When was the last time you took the dog to the vet?
I actually have the paperwork right here for the last time I took her.
Just tell me. Give me the month.
April.
And what did you have done?
She was there for boarding, but they usually always check her and...
No. She was there for boarding.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
The car started having trouble, and I told him that I needed a new one.
And Mr. Rodriguez helped you get a car by putting the financing in his name. And it was repossessed because you stopped making payments?
He told me to park it so it could get repossessed.
No, I didn't.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sarah Denkler and her sister, Megan Collette, claim Tina Sherman owes for a French bulldog. Tina's countersuing for harassment.
Now, I'm asking you when you took the dog to the vet.
September 22nd, 2018, and she got rabies vaccine.
Do you have the paperwork on the dog? How do the two dogs get along together?
And now they get along great. They're very playful.
Well, he seems to be taking good care of your dog. Taking it to the vet when he's supposed to, getting shots, taking care of its ear mites, getting the right diet. Are you satisfied the dog's in a good home?
Yes.
Good. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Ladies, excuse you may step out.
She was basically avoiding my calls, dodging my calls, telling me she's at the river, she's in Vegas.
I have the proof that I wasn't avoiding her. I'm not going to argue with her.
And I tried to pick up the dog many times, and she would not answer my phone calls.
Because Sarah showed up at my house at 10 in the morning on a Saturday and made a scene in front of my house.
So I finally went to her house, and she said she didn't have the dog anymore.
Threatened me, and eventually we had an altercation, and cops came.
I mean, I'm happy that she's in a good home. I just don't really appreciate the fact that
The dog's in a great home, and finally it's over.
she doesn't want to pay for her. It's not really right, but...
Oh, it's over.
We're no longer friends.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Rodriguez versus Cars. Step forward.
Raymond Rodriguez is suing his ex-girlfriend, Gloria Cars, for an unpaid car loan and for purchasing furniture in his name.
Against the defendant, who you've known for a long time. You had a long period of time when you were not in contact with her because she was incarcerated. When she came out of prison, you sort of began dating. And according to you, she needed certain things. One of the things she needed was a car. Now, were you living together with Miss Cars?
No.
Who were you living with, Miss Cars?
My sons.
How old is he?
How old is who?
Your son.
My sons. There was 3 of them. So.
Well, how many children are you living with?
3 of them.
How old are they?
35, 26, and 38.
Do they work?
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a home health aide.
And Mr. Rodriguez helped you get a car by putting the financing in his name.
Correct.
When?
I believe it was 2016.
And when was the car repossessed?
2017 at the end of the year, I believe, or the beginning of this year. Not sure. I'm going to say
December,
he knows.
2018.
And it was repossessed because you stopped making payments?
It was repossessed because he told me to park it so it could get repossessed.
No, I didn't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What are you driving now?
My sister's.
What kind of a car is she letting you drive?
Her 2019 Kia Sorento.
She's been letting you drive a brand new 2000. Ah, there we go. There we go.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Raymond Rodriguez is suing his ex-girlfriend, Gloria Cars, for an unpaid car loan and for purchasing furniture in his name.
So you drove the car 2016, 2017, and all of 2018?
Yes, ma'am.
And for how long did you make payments on the car?
For the whole time that I had it.
Why did you stop?
The car started having trouble, and I told him that I needed a new one. And he told me that he couldn't afford the payments, to go ahead and just park it somewhere so they can come and get it.
Well, who did you expect to pay for the shortfall?
I thought he was. We were in a relationship at the time.
Well, you were living at your son's. He was living in his own house.
Yeah, he's a truck driver.
So what? Did he have his own house?
No.
Did he stay with you at your son's?
No.
Where did he stay?
I have no idea.
Well, then what kind of relationship is that?
It wasn't much of a relationship, Your Honor.
Well, it's certainly not enough to cover the shortfall on the car. Did you buy yourself a new car?
Not yet. I'm in the process.
Well, what are you driving now?
My sister's.
What's your sister's name?
Frances.
And what kind of a car is she letting you drive?
Her 2019 Kia Sorento. Your Honor.
We'll get you a phone. She's been letting you drive since December. We're now in September. That's almost a year. She's been letting you drive a brand new 2019 car.
Well, I'm making the payments on it, too.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
It's just not in my name. I don't have good credit.
Can I see the letter from the bank, Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Rodriguez, when was the last time you and Miss Carr saw each other before today?
Oh, the last time when I drove it to her house to leave it to her.
Now, when was the last time you saw her?
Oh, when's the last time I saw her?
Before today.
Oh.
When was the... Look at me.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw Miss Carr's before today?
November.
A year ago.
Yeah.
So you didn't see her after November of 2018?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'd like to see the papers from the bank. Did you try to make an arrangement with them to pay them off?
Oh, they repossessed it right before I got there. You know, I was in Arizona.
No, I'm just saying, you got these letters. This is January 2019.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you owe. The repossession fees or the rebates, whatever it is.
Yes.
So you do understand, made out to the credit union.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So you do understand that if I find in your favor, the check will be made out to the credit union.
Okay.
You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So what you should do is try to speak to them and get them to consent to, if you make a payment of $5,000, because right now you owe them $8,000, okay, that you'll be clear with the credit union.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Exes battle over their broke son.
There's no question you knew that they had had a major blow-up. Don't look at him.
Next Judge Judy.
Because he didn't have the money to pay for it. He knew I needed a new one, and he told me to just leave it.
I didn't tell her to leave the car somewhere. That was her opinion.
He just said, go park the car somewhere so they can come and repossess it. So there's just the dark side to Raymond that people just don't know.
No, yeah, that's unfair.
Yeah, I just knew I had to part ways with Mr. Rodriguez.
Oh, my God, never do that again, you know?
That he leaves me alone?
Yes, I got to look up after myself. I'm an old man.
Simple as that.
It was kind of tormenting my cat.
So you've seen the cat before?
The neighbor's pet was on the prowl.
Tell me what happened with the cat.
So I heard the cat outside. It was kind of like aggressive.
Then the furs started flying.
Broke through the window, grabbed onto your arm.
I just remember getting scratched, bit, and just really mauled by the cat. I was gushing blood from my arms, hands, everywhere.
Ultimately, you were hospitalized.
This is Judge Judy. 18-year-old Andrea Place is suing her neighbor, 19-year-old Cassandra Tantillo, for damages resulting from a cat attack, pain and suffering, and threats.
Order. All rise. Now, it's case number 165 on the calendar, the matter of Place versus Tantillo.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Miss Place, you and the defendant live in approximately the 10th of June of this year. You were in your home, and defendant's cat broke through the screen in your house and attacked you. You also have a cat.
Yes.
And your cat, and you claim the defendant's cat, who was outside, was sort of hissing at each other. And then defendant's cat broke through the window, grabbed onto your arm, and actually you had serious physical injuries because you were hospitalized for a while. The defendant's cat, as it turns out, had not been inoculated. The defendant's cat was, in fact, removed. And in addition to that, she says that she believes you're responsible for paying her moving expenses because of the incident. She had to move, and it wasn't her cat, and it was probably some fox you were feeding, and that her boyfriend, and I assume that this person is the boyfriend, couldn't have been her cat because her cat was home with the boyfriend all day. Was this a weekday?
Yes.
Do you remember what day of the week it was?
It was June 12th of 2019 on a Wednesday.
Wednesday. Stand up. Over here. Last name?
Morris.
Mr. Morris, how old are you?
I'm 21.
What do you do for a living?
I currently work at Giorgio's Pizza.
How long have you worked for Giorgio's Pizza?
Just a month now. I'm saving up for HVA school.
What were you doing in June? I don't care what were you doing in June of this year?
I think I was just,
It's 21 years old. So what were you doing in the month of June? That's either school, work, or nothing.
I was landscaping, I think, yes.
Landscaping?
Yes.
For whom?
An older individual that comes into her job by the name of John. Old man. He had me doing a whole bunch of stuff around his property.
Were you doing that full-time or part-time?
Part-time.
What days?
Whenever he called me during the week.
All right. And you were home with the cat all day, playing with the cat?
Yes, I was.
Good.
I was
Sit. Don't you feel ridiculous? Yeah, I know. I sort of feel, stop shaking your foot. I sort of feel sorry for you. That's why I let you off as easily as I did.
Okay.
Okay? Say sorry.
Sorry, Miss Judy.
Good. Perfect. I love it. Now, tell me what happened with the cat.
I was sitting in my mother's bedroom with my 8-month-old son and my 1-year-old sister and her boyfriend watching a movie. I heard the cat outside the window. Oops, sorry.
You were sitting in your bedroom with your baby.
Yes.
And your sister.
My son and my sister are a year apart.
And whose boyfriend?
My mother's boyfriend.
And your mother's boyfriend. I thought you said your sister's boyfriend when she's only one. I said, oh.
No, not at all.
Figuring that out. So you were with your mother's boyfriend, your sister.
And my son.
And your son. Got it.
My cat, they were both males, so whenever he would walk by, my cat would kind of like puff up.
How long have you been neighbors?
I want to say I've lived there for 3 years.
And how long have you lived in your place?
About 8.
How long have you had the cat?
2.5.
Hours, days, minutes, years.
2.5 years, sorry.
So you're familiar with what the cat looked like?
Yes.
Just describe the cat to me.
I have pictures of the cat.
I'd like
He's
to
like
see it.
an orange tabby. I want to say, I don't know, like types of cats.
Oh, you took these pictures of her off Facebook?
Snapchat.
Or Snapchat or whatever. Okay, good. So you've had the cat for 2.5 years?
Yes.
Never took the cat to a vet?
He was an indoor cat.
That's either a yes or a no. Does it make any difference whether a cat is an indoor cat or an outdoor cat? Was the cat declawed?
No.
Okay, so you've seen the cat in the neighborhood?
Yes.
So you were sitting at the window?
No, I was sitting on my mother's bed when I heard the cat outside the window. My cat was like laying in the windowsill because he likes to sit there.
Is that the first floor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I heard the cat outside. I heard like a meow and like it was kind of like aggressive, and my cat immediately puffed up. He jumped down. When I went to go see what was going on and maybe shut the window, the cat had jumped out and the screen had sunk in, and then I just remember getting scratched, bit, and just really mauled by the cat.
Did you see what happened to the cat after you threw it off?
I was screaming for my mother. I told her to run and go get the hose to get the cat to run away, because that's what we had been doing. We were just spraying it so it would run and like leave the house, because it was kind of tormenting my cat. After I ran out after the attack and I went to assess my injuries and kind of get away, because both the young babies had witnessed the attack and it really traumatized them, I looked down and my hand had immediately swelled and turned purple, and I was gushing blood from both sides of my arms, hands, everywhere. I have pictures of that day.
I'll see them in a second. Ultimately, you were hospitalized.
Yes, I immediately went to the hospital after the attack. They put me on antibiotic and casted me and sent me home. They told me to return in 2 days if the swelling got worse or did not go down. They told me to follow up with my primary care practitioner.
Don't tell me what else they told you unless you have medical records.
I do.
I'd like to see them. This report says that you were bitten and scratched by a stray cat that was unvaccinated. By that time, that was on June 12th, and that, which was vaccinated.
Yes.
So your own cat bit you as well?
He had tried to jump in when...
Don't tell me, but your own cat bit you as well?
Yes, he scratched me.
Then she was, just for your information, what's your last name? Tantillo. She was readmitted to the hospital on June 15th to give IV antibiotics. You understand that? You understand that your boyfriend was not home all day with your cat. You understand that because do you understand that? You understand he was not home all day with your cat. He is not an alibi. You weren't home. That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes.
Perfect. When was the first time that Miss Place or someone contacted you about your cat? Give me the date.
I can't remember a set date. It was a few days after, and we got an eviction notice.
I don't care about your eviction notice. I care about when someone from Miss Place's family contacted you.
No one their family has not contacted me.
Ever?
Nope.
No one has ever presented you, texted you, told you what this case... The first you've heard about this is when you were served with a summons in this case. Is that correct?
No.
When for the first time did you contact her?
It wasn't the defendant directly. Right after my accident, my neighbor had heard my screams and immediately went and got the defendant's mother and her boyfriend. They came down to my house to look at my injury.
Morris! Now, you've already apologized for lying to me once. Is not an answer.
Yes.
So we're not going to do that again because the next time is not going to be so pleasant for you. And I'm sure you have family, right?
Yes, Miss Judy.
Perfect. Judge Judy.
Judge Judy.
Judge Scheindlin. Either one. On the 12th of June, was your girlfriend's mother at home with you?
Yes, she was.
Did you and the defendant's mother have occasion to go to the plaintiff's house? Yes or no?
Did you say I have occasions?
Did you have occasion on June 12th
Yes.
to go to the house? And did you see her injuries?
Yes, I did.
And did you, of course you did, tell your girlfriend on June 12th that you had seen the injuries?
Yes, I did.
Is not an answer.
Sorry. Yes, Judge Judy.
Did you tell her by phone, text, or in person?
I think I walked to her job and let her know afterwards because her mother had called her also.
When your mother called you, pay careful attention to me. When your mother called you, what did she say?
She was just...
No.
She was saying about how they said that my cat... They were just saying how...
What did she say?
My mom was
saying... It's very easy. Pick up the phone. I call her. She's going to tell me what she said to you. So, what did she say when she called you?
My mom was saying that...
Down. No, your mother didn't say supposedly.
Yes, she did.
No, your mother didn't say supposedly.
Okay.
That's why she called you. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,000. Your counterclaim's dismissed. You're evicted. It's your own problem. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It is what it is at the end of the day.
I think she made the right decision.
People around my neighborhood say that she feeds the foxes.
I don't feed foxes. I watch them out my window. I'm not that dumb.
Get your pets vaccinated, definitely.
For them to lie to me and not ask, like, even, are you okay? It's mind-boggling.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Miller versus Hughes Miller. Step forward, please.
Stephen Miller is suing his daughter, 25-year-old Sarah Miller, and her fiancé, 22-year-old Thaddeus Hughes, for an unpaid loan for a down payment on a home.
Mr. Miller, this young lady is your daughter. The gentleman is her boyfriend. They have a child together, and it is your claim that you made a loan to them. You want it paid back.
You're correct.
They have a stupid counterclaim. They say it was a gift and some ridiculousness about emotional distress. How old are you, Miss Miller?
25.
How many children do you have?
1.
How old?
11 months.
Do you work?
Yeah.
For whom?
I'm a bartender.
How long have you been doing that?
About 8 months.
And what about you, Mr. Hughes? How old?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Right now I'm working at, it's like a tire shop and service shop, but I just do tires.
How long have you been working there?
Not that long, maybe a month.
What did you do before that?
I worked at a warehouse.
For how long?
Like 4.5 years, I think.
You wanted to buy a house. You didn't have money for the down payment.
Yeah.
Who went to Mr. Miller to ask him for money?
Nobody.
You or your girlfriend?
Nobody went to him. He came with us to look at a house.
Well, you mean you just met in the street or someplace and said, think we're going to go look at a house today?
No.
Well, how did it come about?
I mean, we just told him about it, and he was like, okay, I would like to go.
So,
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
at my age, you've seen every scenario. You know every story. There are very few stories under the sun. There are no three-headed rabbits. Do you understand?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Stephen Miller is suing his daughter, Sarah Miller, and her fiancé, Thaddeus Hughes, for a loan for a down payment on a home. The defendants are countersuing for emotional distress.
Now, who told him that you wanted to go and look at a house?
We mentioned that we wanted to get a place of our own.
Had you been renting or you been living with somebody else?
We were living with my mom.
And how long has it been since they've been together?
My parents?
Yes.
Years.
Okay, so you both went to your father and said, we'd like to get a place of our own. And
he offered to go with us to look at places.
No, not offered. We'd like to get a place of our own. Now, there's a reason that you told him and not your mother. What was that reason?
Because he's got more money than my mom does, and he was a contractor.
Because he has more money. So when you told him you wanted a house of your own, you didn't go to your mother with whom you had been living, the two of you, and the baby, right? You went to your father because he had more money. That's what I'm saying to you. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Hughes? At my age, you've seen every scenario. You know every story. There are very few stories under the sun. There are no three-headed rabbits. Do you understand?
I understand.
It's all the same. So you wanted a place of your own. You didn't have any money. Her mother wasn't an option. I assume your family wasn't an option.
May I say something? We weren't necessarily looking for money when we had asked him to come with us.
Did you have any money?
I had credit and enough money for that.
Just a second. I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to make you. How much money did you have?
I had money saved up. I had to give them bank statements.
Just a second. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm going to make you go get it. Now, at the time that he was going to look at this house with you that you ultimately bought, right? Because you had been looking. Is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Better. How much money had you saved?
I had about a little under $1,000 saved for a down payment.
So let's say you had $900 saved.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much money did you need? Because you had already looked at the house.
Yeah.
You had already looked at the house before he went to look at it with you.
Yes, ma'am. They told us that.
Yes, that's a yes. You had looked at this house before.
Yeah, online.
You had been at the house.
He came with us
He came with us the first time we looked at the house. Other than that, I'd seen it online.
And how much was the house?
$90,000.
Had you gone to a bank?
Yes.
Before you went to look for the house?
Yes.
And you spoke to them about your income. Who were you working for then?
Staples Distribution.
And you were still working as a bartender?
I didn't have a job at the time.
How much did they say that you needed a down payment of for the $90,000 house?
$4,200 or $4,100. I'm sorry.
Which you didn't have.
No.
And that's when you asked him to go and look at this house with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Perfectly sensible story. And you bought the house.
I did.
And
$100, the amount of the down payment.
Now, what kind of work does your father do?
Right now, he works at IKEA.
Work for IKEA?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you own your own home?
I do.
When you gave your daughter and her boyfriend the $4,100 down payment, where did you take the money from?
I withdrew it from my account and immediately went to her bank and deposited it into her account.
From a savings account?
Yes, I just did a refi on my house. So the money wasn't even really mine. It was for home improvements for my house.
So you refinanced your house and took out some cash?
Correct.
From your house?
Correct.
And when had you done that refinance?
The end of 2018.
In what month had you given your daughter and her boyfriend this $4,100?
I believe March.
March of 19?
Yes.
Did you start the remodeling of your house before you gave your daughter and her boyfriend the money?
Yes.
Did you ever discuss the fact with your daughter and her boyfriend that you had refinanced your house and had this cash?
That I don't recall that conversation.
What made you think your father had more money than your mother?
Because I know how his financial status is.
Well, tell me how you know.
He's a smart man. He just He's always been able to save money. My mom hasn't.
Now, of the $4,100, did you pay any money of that back to your father?
I didn't.
Did you? That's a yes or a no.
A moment.
You have a ridiculous counterclaim. It is your claim that your father called Child Protective Services to list himself as an alternative resource.
Yes.
Good for him.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Stephen Miller is suing his daughter, Sarah Miller, and her fiancé, Thaddeus Hughes, for a loan for a down payment on a home. The defendants are countersuing for emotional distress.
Now, you made no payment to him. Didn't give him any money. After he gave you the down payment, you didn't make any payments to him. Is that correct?
First, it was $4,300, and they made 3 payments back to me at $100 apiece.
And how did they pay you?
2 was cash, and finally the second one, I got them set up to be able to pay me through their bank directly into my bank through Zelle.
Of $100?
Yes, and that was the last payment I received.
You have a $100 proof that money went from their bank to your bank. And that refresh your recollection?
It does.
Good. I'm glad it refreshed your recollection. You owe your father $4,100. Now, you have a ridiculous counterclaim, which I'm going to entertain in 2 seconds. In what month did the Child Protective Services open up a case?
I don't even know. A couple months ago.
Did you ever tell your father about that?
Mm-hmm, I did.
You did. You told your father that someone had, either someone or a pediatrician or someone had called in a report that the child was somehow being neglected.
I did.
When did you tell him that?
When it happened. The day they showed up at my door. It wasn't neglect, though. Somebody called and said that there had been drug use in my home.
So they showed up at your door in what month?
July.
And subsequently, it is your claim that your father called Child Protective Services to list himself as an alternative resource.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good for him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if Child Protective Services opens up a case on you, what you're supposed to do is give them every potential relative. And according to you, your father is a smart man, always knows how to manage his money. My mother, not so smart.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're, not a no-huh. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to list all people that if Child Protective Services determine that the child has to be removed from your home, the child can go to a smart person. So if you told your father that someone had reported drug use in your home and subsequently he called Child Protective Services and said, I want to be listed as a resource, is that what you told me in your answer?
Yes.
That's what you told me. And I say, that's not a complaint. You should say thank you. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,100. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She's pulled over by 12 cops.
I was also held at gunpoint.
We had an active felony warrant. They also found a meth pipe, and you were taken into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
Okie dokie.
Judge Judy.
I just think it's pretty messed up that he's going to do it to his own daughter.
Well, she came to the correct decision.
I would never see my own child.
Just got into a slight argument, and we ended up here.
I want him to have a relationship with my son.
I'm happy. That's what I want.
I'm glad it's over.
Never lend money to a family member ever again.
A simple transaction
This is a car trade.
gets super complicated,
They reported the car stolen.
and a rough road was ahead.
She's driving her car, and she's pulled over by 12 cops.
Your Honor, I was also held at gunpoint.
A meth pipe when they searched the vehicle, and you were taken into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
Okie dokie.
This is Judge Judy.
Jessica Salmonen is suing LaDonna Brosh and her husband, John Clough, for having her falsely arrested and then unlawfully taking her car and her property.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom. Now, it's case number 54 on the calendar in the matter of Salmonen versus Brosh Clough. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
You knew each other before this car trade?
Yes, Your Honor.
For how long?
No, we didn't, Your Honor. I had just met her.
Yeah, we just
at
met
the
her.
car trade.
Maybe
like a week before.
I don't want want to hear both of you. Who's going to speak for your end? Pick a person.
Maybe about a week before that.
Did you make up your mind that he's speaking for you? This is going to be one of those cases, Officer Byrd, where you're going to find that these two people, or three people, deserve each other. So this was a car trade.
Yes,
this was a car trade. You didn't have to answer. That was a statement, not a question. You traded your
Chrysler 200, 2011,
to the defendants for their
Mercedes-Benz 2000 SUV.
And you signed off titles, correct?
Correct.
And the date you
26th
of this year?
Of last year.
Last year, 2018. And where exactly physically did that title switching take place?
At their house in North...
And your house?
Correct.
And you had never met each other before?
That is not true, Your Honor.
How did you meet each other before?
From their son. I've known them for over 12 years. They lived in Rush City, where I also had resided.
They said they didn't know.
She didn't know us.
So this is what happened, Bert, based upon my reading of this almost unintelligible complaint and answer. A sale was completed on the 26th of April of 2018. It was a sale by trade.
Right.
What they didn't know, and she didn't tell them, was that there were outstanding loans on the Chrysler 2000.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Then why the repo?
Hey! That's what they say.
Right.
That there was a trade, their Mercedes, her Chrysler 2011, but her Chrysler, there was money owed on her Chrysler. How much money? Just give me a figure. How much money?
Was owed still?
Was owed still on the Chrysler.
8,000 or 9.
Excuse me.
8 to 9 should be owed on the Chrysler. So they wake up a couple of months later, and the car is repossessed.
It was like a week later, ma'am.
A weekly. Car is repossessed.
Got it.
So now she's got the Mercedes. They have no Chrysler because there was $12,000 owed on the Chrysler. She doesn't answer their calls. You know, this is a, I don't want to know from you.
Your Honor.
And I'm speaking. And so they report their car stolen.
We did it after informing her that we were going to.
Don't interrupt me.
Okay.
She's driving her car, and she's pulled over by 12 cops and arrested. Shh. We're not talking Phil here. We're talking a courtroom. She's pulled over and arrested on the stolen car.
Your Honor, I was also held at gunpoint.
So you were held at gunpoint.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to tell you, this is a they deserve each other. She sold them a car on which there was $12,000 owed. They gave her a perfectly usable car on which there was no money owed, right? Now they're without a car.
Your Honor.
I'm speaking.
Okay.
So they say, well, we don't have a car anymore, so we can call and say she stole our car. You know you can't do that.
Was it like that, sir? Or ma'am?
Let me explain to you. On the 26th of April, 2018, the 2000 Mercedes-Benz, you could not call in a report that your car was stolen. That's calling in a false police report.
No, the police officer told me to do that, ma'am.
Just a second. You can't tell me what the police officer told you, because if the police officer told you that, he should have gone to a different law school, one that they didn't use on matchbook covers.
Well, then...
Just a second. You can't tell me that. It's hearsay anyway. And no police authority would tell you after a sale has been completed and you no longer have any interest in a car or a piece of property, and you didn't like the deal because you didn't ask enough questions. Just pay attention.
I did.
We did ask her if it was a free and clear title, and she said yes.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Hey, that's your responsibility.
And I did that.
Listen to me. That's your responsibility. If I buy a car, I have to find out whether or not there's a lien on the car. Do you have the title?
No. Nope.
Did she give you the title?
Just
a second. Did she give... I'm not looking at you.
Okay.
You have to understand, you're not going to win any money in this case. Zippity-doo-dah. Because you traded a car on which you owed $12,000, and I don't believe that you told them that. This is your responsibility to look.
Correct.
And your responsibility to vet that car.
Correct.
And you didn't do it.
Correct.
But you have no right to call in a report of a stolen vehicle because she did not steal the car. You weren't an efficient purchaser. So you had no right to use the police. Just like, you know, you have no right to use any law enforcement if it's in order to gain a separate gain. You have the right.
Police orders, they told me to do it because it was still in our name after 30 days, which is the law.
If she would have transferred the title on her name.
I tried.
Listen, not right away you didn't, because we wouldn't have been able to do nothing.
How did...
You're gone.
Okay, well...
You, out.
Well, whatever.
Out.
Tell them all of it. Because if you would have transferred it, you wouldn't have been able to do nothing about it.
You guys took the bottom of my title. That's how they got a new title.
No, we didn't.
Listen to me.
We had to go to the previous
There is
owner.
no question in my mind that you traded cars, as you told me, on April 26th. At that point, the sale completed, finished. His responsibility to look up and find out whether or not there was money out on the car. There's no question that you committed fraud, moral fraud. You sold a car on which you owed. Over of that, you ended up with a car, and they ended up with nothing. Now, if I were looking back at this, I'm saying, listen, I'm not in the court. How can I fix this without going to court and suing her? I'm speaking.
Yep.
I'll call and report the vehicle stolen. Now, if she hadn't registered the car in 30 days, it is possible if she hadn't registered the car, therefore the car is still in your name. Why didn't you register the car?
I tried to when I gave him...
No, you tried to, and?
And it wouldn't let me.
It wouldn't let you.
He had taken the bottom of this card and the bottom that should be right here. The day that I gave him my title, and they knew the lien was on there. They were going to pay it to help me out because I could no longer take payments. That's why I took a vehicle that was only a 2000 Mercedes.
That's a lot.
My vehicle had 74,000 on it.
That's a lot.
They were going
to pay $12,000 on your car? What are you, crazy?
They wanted a new vehicle.
What are you, crazy? They wanted a new vehicle? So for an 8-year-old car, they gave you they're running 2000 Mercedes.
My vehicle ran
Listen to
them.
me. Zero.
It needed
Now,
work.
do you have a car?
No.
What happened to the Mercedes?
After
Shh.
It's
What?
gone. They have it.
No, we don't, Your Honor.
Where is the Mercedes?
After I got it back and I fixed it, I resold it.
Okay, so you got just a second. So you got the Mercedes back.
Correct.
So you got, just a second.
Yep.
So you got the Mercedes back.
Yep.
You got the Mercedes back and you sold it. So in effect, you still have the Mercedes or the money from it.
Correct.
Because
guess.
I don't believe you. If I asked you how much you sold it for, you're not going to tell me how much you got for it. I know. I'm not going to believe you. So it doesn't make any difference unless you have a bill of sale from the person you sold it to, do you?
Nope.
No. Okay. So you have a car. You don't have a car anymore.
No, ma'am.
Bird, would you look up the value, please, of 2 different cars for me? One is a Mercedes-Benz 2000. What kind was it?
ML430?
Mercedes-Benz ML430.
It had 270,000 miles.
2000. Am I
sorry.
not speaking?
2330.
And would you look up a 2011 Chrysler 200?
With 74,000 miles.
6,352.
$6,000. So what you want me to believe is that they took over a $12,000 loan on a car that was worth $6,000. I just want you want me to believe that these people who you knew casually over the years took over your $12,000.
No, excuse me, Mom, I said that wrong. They said that they would help me by taking over the loan.
No.
And I would take a vehicle that was less.
Just a second. These people are not giving you a gift of $6,000.
That's what I'm saying.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You called in a police report of a stolen vehicle.
But it was after I was informed to.
Hey, I didn't ask you a question. I told you something.
And I was telling you something.
That's hysterical.
And later today.
That's his car. That's the gray Buick Park Avenue. Want to go up there and see it again?
I knew what I hit.
Well, clearly not, because you denied it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Salmonen says John Clough had her falsely arrested and then unlawfully took back a car he traded to her. The defendant is countersuing for towing and impound fees and tools.
Now, these 2 people who I only just met, are not helping you out by taking over your $12,000 debt on a car that they could go to the corner and buy. I don't believe that.
This
so there's no
explains it all.
question in my mind that you didn't tell them about this debt.
I did, ma'am.
Ma'am, this explains it all. This is the police report from when she got picked up with the stolen vehicle, and she does nothing but lie through the whole paperwork on when she bought it, when she got the car from me, everything.
No, I have
false
I
information.
have the police report,
I'd like
ma'am.
False information.
I want to see
everything.
the police report. I'll see them both.
And also the thing
See what I
showing
mean?
that
They both,
I
see
had
what I mean
talked to
about
them.
deserving each other, Bird?
No, sorry, ma'am. Don't deserve nothing
Oh,
like this.
yes,
Police
sir.
report.
You may think so,
Mr.
but-
Clough, Mr. Clough,
You may think
let me
so.
tell you
Here's
something.
mine.
What?
Right now, you're not in a bad place.
No.
You got your car back, you sold it, and as far as I'm concerned, you called in a police report of a stolen vehicle, and she was arrested at gunpoint.
But it was after I was
just as-
informed to.
Hey, don't interrupt me. Don't
When do I get to
interrupt me.
speak?
I didn't ask you a question. I told you something.
And I was telling you something.
Oh, really? That's hysterical. At the time they pulled you over, you had an active felony warrant. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okie dokie. And at the time they pulled you over with your active felony drug warrant, you gave them a wrong name.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. And you were taken into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
I paid the bail.
They also found a meth pipe when they searched the vehicle.
Yes.
Car anymore?
No, ma'am.
And her car was worth $2,000, $23.30.
No, the car that she...
$6,000.
It's the Mercedes, ma'am.
6,000. The one that she...
Oh, the car that she gave them was
Right,
$6,000.
6,000.
But actually, she didn't have any equity in that car because she still owed $12,000 on it.
I owed less than that, ma'am.
Show me.
Still ahead was $10,000.
Okay, so you had no equity in the car?
No.
No
I only
equity in the
paid
car.
some, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
We're done. I've sort of read both the complaint and the answer before I started here, and I said I'm dealing with people who really deserve each other. I don't believe for 1 second that this man gave you a gift of either $5,000 or $6,000.
Ma'am, I never said that. He never gave me a gift.
No, it would have been a gift. Too much smoking.
No.
It must have been, listen, madam, if you have a car on which you owe $10,000 and the car is only worth $6,000, then if somebody takes that off your hand, they're giving you a gift because they have to pay $4,000. Do you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that there is a possibility, albeit a slim possibility, you were advised that if the car had not been registered within 30 days of the sale,
Correct.
that you could, in fact, report it stolen.
Correct.
Because then it was still under your name, and you could still be responsible if something
Correct.
happened with the car. So there is that possibility.
Name.
So the only... I'm going to make this as simple as possible for both of you. When you come into court, there's a doctrine. It's called the doctrine of clean hands, which means when you come into court and ask the court to help you, you're supposed to come in with clean hands.
Correct.
Neither one of you had it.
Ma'am, they stole everything
So I'm
I
done.
owned.
Finished. Your case is dismissed.
Ma'am,
This
they-
is your counter suit. We're finished.
Thank you.
Bye.
They stole everything I owned out of my vehicle, even with my recovery of my dad.
She was homeless. I'd help her out a little bit. I didn't know there was a lien. I asked her 5-6 times. Is it free, clear title?
They stole everything I owned, and they got away with stealing from somebody.
Yes, yes. My fault for not looking right away.
Not to do anything with our kids' friends.
Everything I owned, and I'm done.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Wallace versus Kolaski. Step forward.
Richard Wallace is suing motorist Joffrey Kolosky for backing into his car in a parking lot.
Mr. Kolaski, I'm going to start with you, sir. You don't know Mr. Wallace.
No, I don't. Not at all.
Mr. Wallace says that you hit his parked car.
Yes.
And that was in March of this year. Do you remember the date in March?
March the 3rd, Sunday.
Okay. And it was hit in a parking lot?
Yes.
What parking lot?
The YMCA in the handicap spot.
And you were parked in the handicapped spot?
Yes, I was.
Do you go to that gym, Mr. Kolaski?
I do.
Complaint, and I've read the answer. Mr. Wallace did not see who hit his car, but someone hit his car in the parking lot, and there are no witnesses here. Mr. Wallace says that he has a video of your car hitting his car. What kind of car do you have?
I have a 2003 Buick Park Avenue.
What color?
It's gray.
Do you remember how many cars were parked in the parking lot that day?
Well, I need to clarify something here. I go there at 5 a.m., okay?
No. You have to clarify your answer of how many cars were parked there?
No, because he said that...
No, don't tell me what he said.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Watch his car, not the sign. Watch his car.
How far he moved it from
Jump.
the sign.
See his car?
I saw the car.
It moved.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Richard Wallace is suing motorist Joffrey Kolosky for backing into his car in a parking lot.
Now, I asked you if you knew how many cars were parked in the parking lot that day.
Maybe about 20.
And you were driving a 2003 Buick Park Avenue gray, both in the parking lot. Where was your car hit, Mr. Wallace?
The front bumper.
So someone backed into you?
Yes, he did. He smashed into that and smashed into my car.
And the sign smashed into your car?
No, the car did too.
Okay, and that's what the video was going to show?
Oh, you bet.
May I see it, please?
You bet.
Did you know this video existed?
No, I did not.
I told him I had it.
That was your, that is your
blue
car?
That's him pulling in. Almost hits me as he pulls in.
But he didn't. That's his car. That's the gray Buick Park Avenue. Want to go up there and see it again, Mr. Kolosky?
Excuse me?
Want to go up there and see it again?
No, I saw it. I saw it.
And you'll see him getting out of the car. You can clearly see it's him. And that's about it there.
You don't even go and see if there was any damage to your car?
I knew what I hit.
Well, clearly not, because you denied it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Hit the handicap sign.
No, you want to see it? You want to see it again?
Fine.
Let's take a look at it again. I need to see it again. I need to see it again.
You know what? This is all.
I need to see it again.
This is all comes on me now. I've never seen this before in my life.
Well, we're going to watch it again.
Okay.
Watch his car, not the sign. Watch his car.
How far he moved it from the sign.
See his car?
I saw the car.
It moved.
It moved.
You didn't even walk to the back of the car to see if you did any damage. Can I see the estimate for fixing the car?
Your Honor, he wouldn't even give the St. Paul Police his insurance.
Thank you. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,038.38. Thank you very much. We're done here.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She knew my criminal history before I even moved in.
Did you post this?
Yes, I did.
Considering your history, this is pretty dumb.
Next Judge Judy.
I've never seen any of the stuff that he has.
I told him I had the video.
I remember hitting the sign.
He's been stonewalling from the beginning.
I'm challenging if his car is even damaged.
I don't want nothing to do with the guy. I'm glad it's over and done.
I wish he would have told me all this stuff. I would have gladly given him my insurance information.
I can move on and get my car fixed.
After her friend grabbed her keys.
You said the check engine light is on. It needs oil.
I asked her before I left, if I put oil in the car, could I take it?
It turned into a slippery situation.
I stopped at the gas station. I put the oil in there.
Put the oil in where?
In the car. I got on the interstate, and the car started to smoke.
Well, why do you think the car broke down?
She didn't put oil in the right spot. She put oil in the transmission.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ramona Clark is suing her former friend, Casey Waits, for damages and tow fees after Casey drove her car without permission and then put oil in the transmission fluid pipe.
Order. All rise. Waits.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Miss Clark, defendant was a friend of yours. How long was she staying with you?
She actually was staying with me for about 6 months, but we've been friends prior for about
7, 8 years.
But she was living with you for 6 months.
Yes.
And in that 6-month period that she lived with you, did she own her own vehicle?
She did, but she wrecked her car. It was totaled out.
How much into her living with you? A month, 2 months, 3 months?
Probably about 5 months when she was living with me.
So she didn't have a car for a month?
Yes.
And it's your claim that she stole your car in the middle of the night?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, how many times, Ms. Clark, did Miss Waits drive your car in the month that she didn't have a car?
She didn't drive my car.
So you're telling me she never drove your car until the evening when it broke down?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
When did your car start to have trouble?
Well, I say a week before that, my check engine light came on. And I took it to my family mechanic, and he told me it was an O2 sensor that cost $10. And the day she took my car, I was taking it the next day to get fixed. So I told her that I wasn't driving my car until it got fixed. But he said it was just an O2 sensor, that something about with the air cabin or something like that. It was nothing with my transmission or anything.
Now, the evening she took the car, she says she took for that emergency?
No, she took it while I was sleeping.
Well, now you know the nature of the emergency.
Yes.
Well, what was the nature of the emergency?
She said something like her family member was stranded in Lincoln, out of town somewhere.
Okay. Now you know that Miss Waits had a problem with a family member that she had to get on the night of this, which was December 21st of 2018. And you know who the family member was?
Yes.
It was her niece, who was in a situation that she thought might be dangerous.
I wouldn't say dangerous.
What would you say?
I just say that I think her family member went down there with some friends and was ready to come back home.
Now, what you say in your complaint is that she took the car and she put fluid in the wrong place.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, the defendant says that she asked you if she could use the car. She had this problem, and it was during the night. And you said the check engine light is on. It needs oil. Now, it got me to thinking when I was reading your complaint, if I'm having a family emergency, and you say you were sleeping, so it was late at night.
Yes.
Why would I stop at a gas station unless the owner of the car told me that it needed a fluid? If I was called in the middle of the night and I say, gee, can I borrow your car? I would get in the car and go to where the family member was having an emergency. The car.
Yeah, I never told her that the car needed oil at all.
Is that true?
She didn't tell me that night, but we talked about it.
I don't understand that. That's not what you said in your answer.
Yeah, she did. She told me that. That's what I'm saying. She told me that that's why the car she wasn't driving it, because it needed oil. And when I asked her that night, she said, when we were talking prior, before we even got to the house, she was saying, well, you know the car needs oil.
You're honest.
So I asked her.
Just a second.
I asked her before I left, if I put oil in the car, could I take it?
What time was that when you asked her?
A little after 11.
Where were you living on January 4th of 2019?
Back with my aunt.
And when did you move back with your aunt?
After the car situation.
That was on December?
December 1st, around Christmas.
What?
December 1st, around Christmas, yeah.
No, it wasn't on December 1st.
It was around Christmas?
It was around Christmas. That's not December 1st.
Yeah.
When did you move back with your aunt?
In January, I believe.
You want to show me something, Miss Clark?
Yes,
I'd like to see. I'd like to see what you want to show me.
I have evidence of, I never told her that the car needed oil. I go get, every 3 months I go get an oil change. I have paperwork of that. And then I have text messages from her.
Why do you think the car broke down? The car broke down when she was driving it. She was a friend of yours. You never reported this car stolen. Reported the car stolen to the police. Why do you think the car broke down? Because she has to be responsible for that. If she did something that caused the car to break down, whether she took the car with or without your permission, the car broke down. She has to have some sort of negligence involved in her driving the car.
She did. They said...
No, you can't tell me what they said. What they said is hearsay, unless you have a mechanic here. Are you a mechanic?
Yes.
You're a mechanic? Mm-hmm. Stand up.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Shh. Tell me your name.
My name is Tamara McCaleb.
Who do you work for?
I work for Branson Mechanic Shop.
Did you examine this car?
Yes, we have.
How long have you been working there?
I've been working there for 5 years.
What do you do there?
I'm an assistant.
Assistant what?
I go and get cars, check them out for my husband.
Is that his company?
Yes.
Where did you do your mechanics training?
I'm just an assistant, so he just tells me.
Sit down.
Okay.
This is not happening for you. Where's the car?
It's at Emco Transmission.
And when did it go there?
January 4th.
And it's still there?
Yes, because the transmission cost $3,000 to get fixed. And the defendant says that she was going to pay for it when she got her taxes.
If she's responsible for it breaking, when did you purchase it?
February of 2018.
Who did you purchase it from?
It was a private dealer.
How much did you pay this person for the car?
$6,500.
How many miles does it have on it?
150,000.
Tell me what happened when you were driving the car.
I left from the house. I stopped at the gas station. I got gas. I got a quart of oil. I put the oil in there.
Put the oil in where?
In the car, where it says oil.
You got gas yourself, and then you went inside and got the oil.
Yes.
And you put the oil in.
I popped the hood, and I put the oil in.
And then?
And I left to go to Lincoln. I got on the interstate. I was probably a little bit over a half hour to Lincoln, and the car started to smoke. It was smoking just a little bit at first, so I looked down to see if it was running hot, to see if that's why it was smoking. The gauge, it wasn't running hot. I'm like, okay, maybe it'll stop smoking. I drove it for another minute or two, and it still was smoking, and the smoke got thicker, and I pulled over and I cut the car off, and it was still smoking.
How long had you been in the car at that time?
About an hour, because I left from the house and then stopped at the gas station, and then...
How long a distance was it from her house to where you had to go?
40 miles, 30, 40 miles.
Now, you have to demonstrate to me that there was negligence on her part in the car breaking down. The car needs a new transmission.
Yeah, because she put oil in the right spot.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah, she even admitted she put oil in it. And
you just told me that you put oil where you were supposed to put the oil.
And then,
Listen,
yes.
Listen, I'm really uncomfortable, so I think that you have to have a mechanic. That's not a mechanic. I really think that you have to have a mechanic. So I'm really uncomfortable about ruling on this case. So I think that you should take it back to your small claims court where you came from. Do you understand?
Yes.
Great. So I'm just not going to hear the case because I'm going to give you another chance to go before a judge where you come from, which is where?
Omaha.
Get a mechanic, bring the mechanic, and you convince the judge that the reason that this car broke down is because she put oil in the wrong place. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Very good. We're done. Thank you. Yeah.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't think that I'm responsible for paying for her car.
Casey admitted to damaging my car.
Because I don't think that I did it.
On the interstate, stranded.
I just don't think so.
I had to get it towed.
Yeah, no more borrowing cars.
I'll see her in court.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Atkinson versus Green. Step forward.
Ashley Atkinson is suing her ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Gabriella Green, for damaged and...
Defendant were in a relationship for about 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
And your lawsuit seeks two things. First, you allege that about 6 months before you broke up, the two of you were in an argument in your car.
No, ma'am. She was in an argument with her mother.
And during the course of that argument, you allege that your navigation system screen was broken.
Yes.
And you want her to pay for it because it was done during the course of the argument with her mother. It was done with her phone. And you made up after that argument.
Yes.
So I'm not interested in the navigation system. Courts don't deal with that. Two people live together, have a fight, they make up. When you break up 6 months later or a year later or 5 years later, you don't go back and say, well, my girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife broke something 2 years ago and promised to pay for it, and they never did. We don't have courts to do that. So we're going to move on to your next cause of action. Your next cause of action is for things that you allege that the defendant stole from your house that belonged to you after you broke up. That I'll hear.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Now, where are the children now?
They're back with CPS.
Why did they go back to CPS?
Because she no longer was going to take care of them. All this incident started because I asked her the amount of money because she was supposed to help me get paid for the children.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Atkinson is suing her ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Gabriella Green, for damaged and stolen property.
Now, the end of your relationship was on what date?
May 10th.
Is that when you left?
Yes.
On May 10th?
I tried to leave, yes.
You were living in your house? Mm-hmm. Not a That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
This is a talking program. You have visual and voice. When do you allege she came back to your house?
About 2 weeks later.
So sometime towards the end of May?
Yes.
How did she get in?
She hired a locksmith.
You brought a locksmith with you?
Yes, I had a court order.
Do you have a copy of that order?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Oh.
Son, come back here. Hey, that's what I do.
Okay.
Thank you. Were you ever served with these papers?
No, ma'am. They were put in my mailbox. I was at work. And then when I came home, she had already entered the house.
No, I'm not talking about served with the writ of restitution. I'm talking about served with papers for a hearing.
No, they were put in my mailbox.
Did you see them?
No.
Why not?
I was at work.
Well, you can't be...
I worked like 2-3 weeks at a time.
So you didn't see when the hearing was?
No.
That's why you didn't appear?
Yes.
I have messages where I told her we had court, and I have them on my phone. And she knows we had court.
She's been lying this whole time, Your Honor.
Now, just a second. It's not urgently important.
I have messages.
She has a writ of restitution. She said she had property in your house. Actually, it says that you're the lawful possessor, entitled to possession of the premises. Well, that's not true, Miss Green. This wasn't your premises. This was hers.
But I lived there for 6 months.
Just a second. I don't care if you lived there. So I don't know what you said to the court. In any event, she has a writ. So it allowed her to go into the premises and take property. I'd like to see what property you said was in the premises.
I had my clothes, my laptop, my TV. I have it on my phone, but I would have to bring it up.
No.
What do you mean?
I don't want to see it in your phone. Okay. I want to see what you told the court, if you have it, that you had in the premises. Okay. What do you allege she took from the premises that belonged to you?
She stole my passport.
Hold on. Passport.
Yes, my passport.
Okay. Did you take her passport?
By accident, because it was in the drawer.
Did you return it to her?
I have it here.
Great. Bird, would you give it to her, please? Sure. Thank you.
Along with her...
Shh. Passport and what else?
Her charm.
Okay. Passport belongs to
my
you.
Jewelry.
No, jewelry is a big term. When I say
necklace
somebody took my jewelry.
Necklace and a bracelet.
Necklace and bracelet.
The bracelet she bought for my birthday, which my dad can tell her. She gave it to me in front of all my family.
Is that the bracelet that you're talking about?
Yes.
Well, then you don't get that back. That's a gift. And what about the necklace?
And then the necklace she just gave to me to wear, but I left it at home. I still have it.
You have it?
I do.
Okay. So you'll return it to her?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Her daughter came from Texas, and she was going to take over the children. She qualified and passed everything, but because her grandma's house where she was staying didn't qualify, they took the children. Because nobody can pass, like Department of Justice. We all passed.
Great.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Atkinson is suing her ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Gabriella Green, for damaged and stolen property.
Now, bracelet, necklace, passport you have, charm you have. What else?
I had to change my locks.
Forget it.
Okay.
She had a lawful order to go in with a locksmith.
Yep.
So you have your passport back, you have your charm. The bracelet was a gift to her. The necklace she is going to return within 5 days.
Okay.
What else?
That was it.
That was it? Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We were in a fight about an argument, and then she grabbed the phone out my hand and hit the screen.
What do I look like breaking my own neck?
Said that we were going to get a used screen for $200, and now that I broke up with her...
I mean, it sounds good, you know? That's what happens when you don't want to pay.
Now she wants $4,000 from me.
Never believe anything that sounds too good to be true.
I will learn from my mistakes and move on with my life.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lopez versus Lozano. Step forward.
Maria Lopez is suing her former friend, Jennifer Lozano, for the return of her car or the unpaid balance of the loan.
Oh, there's so much going on here. It's hard for me to even wrap my head around everything that's going on here. But I'm going to simplify it if I can. Miss Lopez, Miss Lozano dates when he's not in jail, your son, who is currently in jail. Before he went to jail, they used a car. You say it's your car. When he was going to jail, there was some issue that he may be able to get out on bail. Nobody had any money. So it was sort of agreed that there would be a title loan taken out on this car that you say is yours, that miscarcerated son bought before he was arrested. Just so that we mix things in the pot a little bit. There had to be a time when you were all happy together because Miss Lozano has 2 grandchildren, the ages of whom are?
2 and 4 months now.
And they are the children of whom?
My daughter.
Who is not in the picture.
Right, no, she don't.
And those 2 children live with, raise your hand. Well, you both raised your hand, so that's interesting. Does the 2-year-old live with you?
No.
The 4-month-old lives with you?
Not anymore, no.
So they did live with you?
Yes.
From when to when?
The baby girl was born November 17th. We received her November 20th from CPS.
She was born drug addicted?
That's what I was told, yes.
Okay, and?
And so I offered to take the babies in so they wouldn't go into a unknown foster care. And
what was she doing?
She was there. Our agreement was that she would help take care of the children. And so she did.
So she was living with you?
Yes, she was staying there.
Now, where are the children now?
They're back in CPS, with CPS.
Why did they go back to CPS?
Because she no longer was going to take care of them, so they took them back to CPS. All this incident started because I asked her the amount of money because she was... No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
The children were removed from your care?
No. Her daughter came from Texas, and she was going to take over the children. And
but they couldn't.
She qualified and passed everything, but because her mother's house, her grandma's house where she was staying, didn't qualify, they took the children. So they found them a new home.
Both children together?
Both children, yes. They were taken together
so they
to
have
the same home.
All these relatives, all these grandmothers. And...
Yeah, because nobody can pass, like Department of Justice. We all passed, but nobody else could.
Great. This is a 2000, what kind of car?
It's a 2000 Lexus GS 400.
And it's currently in her possession?
Yes, ma'am.
It's titled in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give you an order to go and get it.
Thank you.
Perfect. Now, once you get it, you can sell it and pay off the title loan that was used, at least initially, to get your son out of jail. Are we finished now? Perfect. I'm finished with this case. Thank you very much.
You didn't even hear me.
I don't care.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
And on the next Judge Judy.
An ugly breakup ends with a smash.
You reached into her car.
If she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
If you kept your pants zipped, sir, you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble.
Judge Judy.
Your guess is as good as mine because we got along, and once money issues were involved.
She got in a mood because we got in an argument, and she decided she just wanted to, because the car was in her name, she said, I had to take it. You know what I'm saying?
And the car has been in my name since 2015.
No, and she never paid no money on it, never paid anything on that car.
As far as her marriage to my son, I went to the Hall of Records in San Bernardino.